Finn. Shaking his head no.
I'm not going to talk through the intro this time.
Lies, you always do.
Yes, you will.
Yeah, probably will.
See, we're already introed and you've already been talking. Welcome to Reality Skew Gamers Friday night State of Survival stream. Hello, survivors. I am T McVenom. I have my panel with me, Daedric Archon. I'm not even going to say states because I have Margarita Mix here and I'm 2 down and I don't remember states. Sorry. So we have Daedric, Delete, Silverwolf, and then we also, Scorn's not on tonight. He's doing stuff, so he couldn't be on tonight, and that's okay. We're giving him a pass. But we have RSG Finity. Finity is one of our longtime RSGers. He actually started it with Ranger and recruited me in a long time ago. Say hi, Finity.
State Florida represent. Woo woo.
Oh my God, you're such a dork. You're such a dork.
Oh, wow.
What?
This is
Awesome.
This is Finn. This is Finn to the T. He's just like an adorable dork.
Can I ask a question before we start?
Yeah, please.
Is Scorn busy with his man bun or his big glass of wine?
Probably both. Maybe he's trying.
I gotta get it out of the way. I
style
gotta
it.
ask.
He might pop on later with it. Like, wouldn't it be cool to have it like all in a mohawk or something if you just popped on with it?
Maybe he's trying to get his man bun into the wine store, and they're giving him a hard time.
Wow, that's some serious logic right there. I never thought of that.
Possibly. Well, welcome, guys. And this is going to be, again, one of our loose Friday night streams. We've all had one of those weeks. It's like always one of those weeks lately, though. Like, I don't know if it's with the corona or what's going on, but it's always one of those weeks. So we're just kind of keeping it loose tonight. We were going to talk about Horde, and we are still going to talk about Horde, but we just found out there's some kind of rumor going around that...
It's Horde with a D, by the way. She's saying Horde. Duh, Horde, duh. Duh.
Do I sound like I'm saying whore?
Continue.
Horde.
Now
Horde.
you're saying Horde. Now
Got it.
you're saying
Horde.
Horde.
So we were going to talk about the Horde.
Are you on the right scene, by the way?
Why?
Like all black on the background.
Is it not supposed to be?
We have the whole color stuff and everything.
Oh, I might not be in the right scene. I don't know. It's fine. It is. I think I'm on the right one. Yeah. Oh, no, I wasn't. Shit. There it is. Oh, great. Okay. So, yeah, we were going to talk about the Horde, but, and we're still going to, but there's a rumor going around that they got rid of it. Who saw that? Was it Scorn or was it you, Silver?
I think it was Scorn.
Yeah, it was Scorn, and then I checked it out. It's not on the calendar.
I'm going to be so upset if they got rid of it.
So another classic example of where the hell is the communication.
True story.
It's a one sentence message. That's all that's required.
Yeah, just let us know whether you're getting rid of it or not. So, just FYI, somebody said, who's Finity? That's DSP. We know him. But Finity has yet to download this game, and I keep pressuring him, and I'm hoping that the more he talks with us, he might actually download it. But he knows, he helps me build my thumbnails, he helps me build my graphics for this, so he kind of knows a little bit about the game. He just won't commit to it. So you guys pressure him as much as you want.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to make a suggestion. If you play the game, join state 27 so people actually know who they are.
That's some shade he's throwing. He's already starting the night off with trolling the chat, I'm sure. No, he would join my state, mine and Delete state, if he's going to play. Duh. Right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be great.
I am not on this stream against my will.
Shush.
Big help me sign behind him.
Don't give him any ideas. He could throw a graphic up like that in a second, too.
Oh, please do. Please do.
So, I have it written down. The states: Scorn's in state 10, Daedric's in 42, Silver's in 20, and then me and Delete are in 125. And Finn will be in
All-
125 one day.
All
So,
lies.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
so before we get started, I did have a meme. I'm just going to get it out of the way because I know I'll forget later. There's your meme. It's it's the bird box meme. It's so funny to me when you send group messages explaining events like Horde and trap tactics, hoping they'll all see them, and then the members just have their eyes blindfolded. Basically, this was by Wolo Me. He put it up in the Discord, the SOS Discord, and I thought it was funny. So yeah, there we go.
Still need a mod the meatballs. Meme.
We still need a what?
Never mind.
Mom, the meatball.
Oh, the meatballs. It's the meatloaf. Get it right, Silver.
Or meatloaf. Sorry,
Ah, the
sorry.
meatloaf.
Sorry,
There's-
meatloaf.
Oh yeah.
We all know what that's about, though. Well, all of us here know what that's about. Okay. So that's our meme of the week. We'll get to our code. You get a code giveaway, but you don't get that till the end. Guys, don't let me forget to do the code. I almost forgot it last stream. But we'll get to that later. So with that being said, does anybody have any new information about the Horde? Has anybody got a confirmation yet? If you're in chat, just let me know if there's a confirmation whether or not they have taken it out. First off, let's start about like ideas. Would you be, Daedric, would you be pissed if they took it out, or do you not care at all?
Before I answer that question, don't forget the code. Would I be upset? Yes, because it's really fun to burn people when they're doing Horde.
How did I know that was going to be the answer? I just knew that was going to be the answer.
Oh, that is so mean and very, very smart.
Oh, it's
It would be
perfect.
so mean to attack somebody during Horde, I think. Like, that's like really, that's like mega villain right there. What we were talking about, that other meme that we showed. You're like mega villain.
Well, gotta get those 2 billion kills, that's for sure.
So, Finity, just to give you a quick heads up, a Horde, the zombie Horde, I don't know if I've talked to you about this, but it's basically an alliance event where you trigger it, and from one spot on the map, these waves of zombies come at your base, and they're NPCs, and you just have to try to beat as many waves as possible. That's basically what it is. You can reinforce your members and all that stuff. And what it does is it creates a lot of red lines on your screen, your map, because it's like incoming attack. Like you have a list of like, what is it, 100 in your alliance tab for incoming attacks, because it's all of them, everybody in the alliance getting attacked. And Daedric's talking about attacking the alliance as a player during a Horde, so they would get lost in the mix with your
It's
attack.
perfect camouflage.
Yeah, can't tell. Couldn't tell at all.
It would be so
nice.
mean, though.
That's like hitting someone during their trap. That would...
Yeah, I like to think that I could be like Daedric and be like one of those ruthless Viking players, but I don't know that I could do that. I really don't. I would like to say I could, but I don't know.
Then you haven't watched enough Vikings.
It's a Canadian thing.
I agree. I haven't watched enough Vikings. I'm on season 4. I'm so excited. Okay, so Ashley Collins said she'd be pissed if they got rid of Horde. I would too. And like, I know Daedric doesn't care. Silver, you kind of were on the fence about it, right?
I wouldn't care for me personally, because I don't pay a lot of attention to it, but I think there's advantages to it, and you and I talked about that a little bit before, right? There's advantages to it for the whole alliance to be able to sort of participate in one thing and help each other out, and it helps with coordination for reinforcing and those kind of things. Like it's just a different kind of event, and I think there'll be a void without it.
Yeah.
But personally, I can take it or leave it. Most of the time, I'm not online for it a lot. I still make it to, whatever the max level is, but 19, I think.
Well, so like Delete and I were talking about it, is that our alliance is still, we're in a new state where we still have lower levels. So I can understand that you guys in the older states that have all max castles, it's not that big of a deal. But for a alliance that's still growing, that's got 24s to 26 castle levels, that is one of the only events, one of the few events that all levels can participate together in sync with the higher levels. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like all of our like capital battles and our other things were like only T9s and T10s. Don't anybody else join the rallies, and we're kicking out the lower levels. Well, this is one event that free to play, pay to play can all play together, and we kind of have fun with it. We're stealing points and you know, just having a good time, and it's one where we all play together and there's no real danger of loss. So it's more fun and social event. And I just feel like it would be such a shame to get rid of that. Like, Delete, what do you think?
I had someone tell me that it's like the coming of age in the game, because it like turns into where you're like begging someone to reinforce you so you make it through, to the point where it's like, don't reinforce me, dude. I can do this on my own, you know, and I can, you're just stealing my points. I'm fine. You know, it comes to the point where you're just like, wait, what? All right. Okay, fine. Leave the nest. I don't need you anyway.
Fly, baby bird. Somebody else said even our free to plays hit wave 20. Well, that's awesome, but like ours aren't. We're not hitting 20 yet. Like, we are just at, we can make it to about 18 or 19. And it also depends on the level, right? Because there's a different level. I know that some people I'd watched in our Discord, our state's Discord, wasn't sure about the difference in the levels of the Horde. Like, the first level is really easy. It's really easy, but it gets harder. It's just like, I don't know if it goes up as high as Trap. Do you guys know what level it goes to max?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I gotta say, I've actually never opened Horde in my life. My old alliance, it was, the guy used to surprise us with it randomly and just start Horde, you know, like when people were asleep. He just didn't care. He just felt like it was a way to keep people online and like paying attention to the game. So that was weird. You know, we're a bit more structured in law, surprisingly, being that we're lawless.
I know. We have a little bit more structure. King, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to call you someone. King said that in chat. But yeah, I forgot what I was saying.
I think you're right. I think you're right in the sense that it is an event that everybody can kind of do. And if you don't do it, or if you're not online at the time, it's not a huge deal. Like, it's not going to cost you, you know, it doesn't cost you that much, and it doesn't cost your alliance. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a different style of event. And I think with this game, that's one thing that I'm hoping that they, you know, will come around to a little bit and focus on is some variety in the events, right? Because you're right. Like, in our alliance, in our state, which is really old, and you know, we have 100 active players in our alliance, and a lot of them are really big and strong. The ones that don't have a lot of, you know, like they don't get picked to be the 30 that go into Reservoir, you know, because we want to win, and we go against, you know, the strongest teams in that. Capital's kind of the same thing. Like, we don't want you filling the tower because, you know, this rally's coming and we need, you know, these players in there. So that creates over time, and we've seen it a little bit in ours too. It creates a little bit of hard feelings among people when, you know, and as an alliance, you know, I truly feel that, you know, winning is important. You want to, you know, especially us, we're first all the time. We want to win, we want to be competitive, but there has to be that little bit of a balance where people have to learn how to play too, and how to get better, and how to, you know, what works and what doesn't. And sometimes, you know, like most of the time we breeze through our capital, but sometimes, you know, you'll get a rally that'll surprise you and knock you out. And then you try to, you know, you want people to figure out why, you know, didn't have enough infantry in there because you've been in there for 6 hours, you know, and didn't put any more troops in, or whatever the case is. So it's just one of those events where the dynamics of the game are taught to you with Horde. You know, like, you understand what attacks do. The attacks and the mechanics of it are kind of off, like out of whack. You know what I mean? Like, it's so easy for, you know, up until a certain level, and then it becomes harder immediately. You know, it's still easy for us, but for newer states, you know, you'll probably get to a point where all of a sudden it'll kick your butt.
Yeah. Before we get into
there was more Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I wish there was more of a sliding scale. Like, it's either 100 or it's you fail. Like it should
Yeah.
go
I
down. Like
thought there was for the longest time.
no, it's just like pass fail.
It's pass or
You know,
fail. I thought there, for some reason, I think it's the Mandela effect. I really thought I had like seen 70 or 75% before, but no, I look back at my reports and I'd never seen that. It was only fully or, under, or you fail under 50.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
But yeah, no, it should be more dynamic in that regard to just kind of like allow people to kind of reinforce the right people at the right times, as opposed to being like, oh, I just failed once, so now I'm gonna fail from here on out. Like make it more interesting. So this way more people want to take part, because right now it's just like, all right, I missed Horde.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Well, that's one of the questions that I actually, Finn is really good with like understanding. He's where I got my devil's advocate play, like, because he really understands like the business aspect of a developing game. And so with him, my question would be something like that. Why don't they put more interest in development, like actually put a little bit more effort into developing a event that is for the whole alliance, for free to play and pay to play, like they do some of the other events. Like they put a lot of work in some of the other events that are obviously pay to play. But like I would think that the more people you have enjoying the game, the better. Finn?
It's not wrong, but you have to look at it from two different sides, right? A lot of the developers don't necessarily play the games. I don't know about this particular games. I'm going to speak kind of in generality, and you guys can tell me if you think that's true or not. But a lot of developers don't play the game. They see it from a different perspective than all of the players, right? Mm-hmm. They'll see it from a coding perspective. Does X, Y, and Z work? But then management of the development will also look at it and be like, how much is the effort that we are putting into this worth? How much can we profit off of it, right? And while there is a part of it where you should be looking for goodwill with the community and trying to include all players, ultimately, everything, regardless of which game you play, is going to be decided by how much people spend and what they spend it on. If the spending habits of the players don't seem to be falling because of lack of general content, right? They'll continue down that. It's just unfortunately the way of every single game, regardless of mobile game or non-mobile game, but more so with mobile games because of the micropayment system, right? They have to get players to constantly buy something. So what is their incentive to get free-to-play players to have the ability to compete? I don't know enough about this game to know, do they have like things for small spenders in order to like give them something fun to buy, or is it all high-level purchases?
No, there's micro purchases, yes, but do they contribute to a high level of gameplay? No, it's a cumulative build. Or in my opinion, it is. But I guess what I'm coming at, like, and Silver and I were talking about this earlier as well, is that as a developer, I feel like it's so short-sighted to look at just that aspect of what you said. And I understand that that's the way they go, but you take a game like Game of War was. It was such a huge game, and it's because they did incorporate those smaller events for everybody, especially in the beginning, to get a huge following. And then eventually some of those players that didn't spend anything started to spend stuff because they could feel that they were still incorporated into an alliance and could do stuff in the alliance. So they spent a little bit. Granted, they didn't spend a lot, but it's free-to-play players that started spending a bit. Now, my question is also to you, is that worth it to them? Like free-to-plays that spend in micros here and there, or is it just the big whales that really matter as far as the gameplay or keeping a game going?
Depends on the volume. I mean, all I can say is depends on the volume. Would you rather have 10,000 people spending $5, or would you rather have 5 people spending $25,000 each?
That's the thing. And
right.
If you relate this back to Horde specifically, what I would say, like, number one, Finn is bang on right about the motivation of why things are done and how they build out their game, right? It is based on how can we make money. If you look at Horde specifically, there's without changes to it, there's not a lot of ways to monetize it where people, because it comes down to all the other stuff you either buy or don't. There's nothing specific to Horde as an event that you're going to buy just for that event.
Yeah,
right. So
I agree.
From their perspective, it's almost like it was added in because it's a model that's used in a lot of earlier games as well. The same kind of idea, right? Mm-hmm. So it's almost like they put it in there as a, a sort of a, I don't want to say this, event. But sort of a filler event, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Where other people can participate, but it's not driving any revenue for them. Which, I mean, there's ways I think if they looked at it, and maybe got some community opinions on how to change it and whatever, there's probably ways that it could be monetized a little bit more, but it's one of those events where nobody spends any money to do well at it. So they're not going to focus their attention on it.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking about this. I mean, considering that the game is named State of Survival and like zombies is like a big part of it, there's really, besides Horde, there's no real zombie component. I guess all the things that you can kind of random rally to kind of destroy stuff makes sense. The helicopter comes flying over. Sorry if you can hear that. No. But there's Horde was the only thing that was wow, okay, now it's random people. And it was the original origin of the game was oh, I have to go ahead and unlock parts of my settlement. I have to go ahead and clear these pieces. And Horde was kind of the last thing that kind of had the zombie component to it.
But that could very well be a reason why it was in the game to begin with.
Yeah, right? Just to give that
tie in that theme.
Right.
So sort of a lost leader kind of situation of we got to keep this about zombies because everybody knows, zombies are the the latest greatest craze and everything is trying to attach themselves to it. But you're right about that. In terms of gameplay, it's just like every other game. It's me versus you is the core gameplay of it, right?
Right.
Us versus them, me versus you, and the zombie piece of it is kind of just the window dressing on it.
Yeah. And what was the other thing? Oh, in Reservoir Raid, you can trigger zombies to go attack one base at a certain point.
Oh, that's a very small factor in it too, though.
Has anyone ever done that? I've never done it.
Oh yeah.
I've never done it.
Yeah.
I was hey, we can do that? Do it. Yeah, totally do it. But I was wow, is that even a thing?
It's not very strong too. It's not, it's not hugely impactful, but it is kind of cool feature.
So is it kind of like Tower and Capital? It attacks that?
No, you have to actually send it. You have to physically click to send it out. And then it has a timer on it and you can resend it, but you have to physically do it.
I've seen it running across the screen and be what the hell is that?
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. Daedric, did you have any thoughts on what we were just talking about?
Just from a general perspective, so, putting Horde aside for a moment as the kind of primary focus, from a business decision-making standpoint, I'm just going to build off of a bit of what Finn said and being in business myself, not everything needs to be monetized, realistically speaking, even platform games. So the question that Finn posed, and Finn, this is not me debating it, I'm just going to go on another track here. Would you rather have the $25,000 spenders or the whatever amount of 10,000? Why not both? And to approach it from this way is sometimes from the business decision making standpoint, you need to step back and go, how can I still make money but get everybody involved? So if we're talking about something like Horde, where was the market research done? So point in case going, there is a rumor that Horde is being removed. Keyword being rumor. So with the fact that it's a rumor, that again goes back to where was it communicated? Let's say it is true. Where was it communicated to the community that Horde was being removed? Because it does generate activity.
Yeah.
So how do they, I'd be interested, and obviously we're never going to know or see it, but I'd be interested to know how they pull their numbers. Because you cannot make a sound business decision on a non-monetized product when people very well might be spending money in the background but it's not recorded that way. Like I could be buying all this chief and hero gear because I want to do well in the Horde, but their report would never show that. Like it wouldn't be tracked that way. So even if something's not monetized, people are still spending, people are still getting online and being active. You know, somebody might generate Horde and I get online and there's this brand new pack that comes out that I wouldn't have seen if I didn't get on for Horde that day. And I go and I end up buying the pack. It gets people to log into the game. That automatically is making you money, is generating activity. It doesn't always need to be about every time this person logs in, they should be spending. You know, I think they really need to consider keeping free-to-play events, whether it's Horde or something else. But, you know, getting away from this, everything has to be monetized, because it does get to a point where, yes, you'll keep your $25,000 spending accounts, but you lose the $50,000, $10,000 spenders that you could have had if you maintained the free-to-play market. Like it's a really interesting thing to look at, and I'm just curious to know how those business decisions are being made. Because again, without community involvement, there was no survey, there was no message, no nothing. You know, how are we supposed to provide feedback after the fact? That cannot continue to be a recurring theme, where every time something happens, I have to send in a support request going, you know, why was this changed? We should have the ability to provide that feedback pre-decision, as a normal business decision would be made.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that this panel has been pushing for a lot, is just better communication with like changes, or even, you know, just letting us know that you've made the change. Definitely, like we're noticing like little tweaks and stuff that weren't given in an update patch note or anything like that. So that's kind of what we're pushing for altogether. Any other thoughts on that before we start getting into like a little bit of the mechanics of the Horde?
I would just say one other thing to that is, it's a fine line in these games to not cannibalize your top spenders. And it is a really thin line that they have to walk, because one thing, like I'll say, like Game of War is the perfect example of it, because when that game came out, they wanted obviously to get as many people playing as they could. So they had mechanics in the game that allowed you to be, you know, a free to play or a, you know, low investment player and be super strong as a trap. The reason why that particular, you know, model in games has sort of gone by the wayside is what they were finding was, and I know a few guys that were involved in that game, and what they were finding though is that the top players, like me at the time, were getting a little bit upset that, you know, they were spending all this money and they weren't able to dominate, because that's the motivation to spend, right? It's people spend because they want to be the strongest, they want to be, you know, strong enough to crush everybody else. That's the core dynamic of the game. And you got to be a little careful. Like, the way around that, I think, is to come up with some, you know, more diversity in the events themselves that don't rely on specific, I have to pay to be good in this event. But if I pay money into the game, I can be good in, you know, XYZ events. You know, that's how I'm going to be better at these events. That's how they're going to get those moderate spenders to maybe increase a little bit, and the free to play guys to throw $20 here and there. But it's a lot of the developers, like, you know, they don't think of it that way. They're not looking at the game from an emotional standpoint of how do we, you know, people like us that are hooked on the game that want to play it all the time. They're not looking at it that way. So it's I kind of excuse them a little bit for not being able to see the things that maybe we see. But having said that, they should be listening to people like us that are saying this is what you need to do and this is what's going to keep us engaged and everything else, right?
Yeah. So Silver, to build on that and support your positioning, exactly what you just said. And going back to Finn's point, a lot of these developers don't actually play the game that they've built, and even management. And let's say theoretically that they do play the game. We're still more invested than they are to a degree, because we're seeing it from a player's perspective. We don't see the coding and all the background stuff that's going on. And again, if they're looking at it from a monetization perspective, and we're providing in all of these streams, we're actually giving ways to make money. We're providing ways to improve the game, to increase player base. As a manager of a game or a development team, I'd be looking at this and going, wow, they're giving me suggestions on increasing my player cap in the States. They're looking at increasing the traffic into the game, whether the person, plays and only spends $100 and quits. That's still money. Money's money. Promoting certain events or discussing certain events. If this is coming from the streams and the community in general and the Discord, that's free advice. Nothing is better in business decision making than free advice that makes sense and helps the decision process. And that's what I believe these streams do. And it amazes me that, again, with Horde, what are we on our 9th, 10th stream now?
9th.
We are still experiencing communication issues on events. There is a point where I would go, okay, what's going on? Like, as the person running King's Group, who the hell is not communicating right now?
Yeah.
Who failed out a one-liner?
Where's the breakdown in that?
Where's the breakdown? It's a simple communication message to the game-wide going, we apologize for any inconvenience. Horde is being removed. We're optimizing this or whatever the case may be. Just let us know. And again, we say this every week.
Every week, yeah. And King said, money is money. Someone make a meme of that. Money is money. But Finn, Finn actually, in the other game that we play, and I'm not going to bring it up over and over again, these other games, because we're focusing on this game. But at the same time, like, we've dealt with this in other games at not the same level, though. Like, Finn's not completely aware of how little information is given out in this game. But, like, that's a battle that he and we used to do in our other game all the time, was like, we want more communication. And, guys, it was 10 times more than we get in this game. So the fact that we aren't even hitting the bare minimum of what is expected from a high-level investing game, like when you're investing $20,000, $30,000, when you have players doing that much, like, the bare minimum should at least be coming through, and we're not getting it. Finn, like, you know how much, like, communication we expect from, like, Swaga and stuff like that. Like, that's nothing. We don't get that here. And it's pretty interesting because I've seen, like, you guys know I have a friend that's doing the marketing, and he's awesome. He is very active in marketing on Facebook and stuff like that, but he has no control over, like, exactly what content information gets out. He just has the marketing for it. And I'm like, utilize people like that. Utilize people that actually know the game, they play the game, and they want to get out there and give information. Like, get a content manager or a community manager, like, get a community manager that is actually in the Discord talking to players and getting that information out with patch notes. Like,
that's the thing that I see is they really miss the boat when it comes to that, not seeing the, intrinsic value that players put in good communication from a community team. All the games that I've seen that do that well last longer and make more money. The ones that get that formula right, and they engage their players, and they let their players know. You can't tell everything that's going on and what, like, that's not the point. But that bare minimum of, you're part of we feel like you're part of our team here, and we're going to make you feel that way, and we're going to communicate what we're doing and to the extent we can why we're doing it. That itself is valuable to players, especially to committed players that are spending a lot of money. And I've heard that from a ton of people that I know. I've felt it myself on games that I've spent a lot of money on, where when you're treated that way, that with that little bit of respect that we're gonna tell you what's going on, it gives you less opportunity to get all pissy and about these they don't tell us anything, what's going on. It just they could put themselves in a position where they're not sort of shooting themselves in the foot. And that's just from a pure business perspective. That's nothing to do with development of the game or events or anything else. That's just, treat your customers the right way and give them some communication and give them the ability to give a little bit of positive feedback and a little bit of constructive criticism. And it's amazing how far that can go. And they don't see it.
Well,
right?
I wonder how much it's based on like, like I think we had talked a couple streams ago about like, as soon as someone sees survival of the fittest and they see that they're not chosen for state versus state, and they're like, I've been saving all my stuff so I could just
Yeah.
offload for state versus state.
and they get
Like
pissed.
I don't want to deal with survival of the fittest anymore.
Yeah.
If they
Yeah.
told you that you weren't going to get state versus state, it might actually get you to contribute to survival of the fittest, and then have to rebuild again. Like, so I think they look at it as a way of like, oh, we don't want to tell you what's going on because you might alter your spending pattern to wait for something that we're actually a little bit further away to bringing you than you want.
But then
You know,
that's
so-
contradictory because we're actually saving our stuff and not spending as much because we're waiting for SVS.
Yeah,
Well, no,
I
spend
get
it.
that.
We'd spend
Yeah.
it anyway.
I feel like the spenders would spend it anyway. Like Daedric and I both said, like, hey, when I get that battle package, when I log in and I get that battle package, it's an automatic. But yet,
Easy.
I've only seen it once since I think we talked about that like week 3 or 4. I've only seen it once since then. And we were both like, wow, that's an automatic buy because that's stuff I can't get any other place. And there's nothing else that I can kind of contribute to the game to buy those things except for that one spot. And like, we haven't seen it come out, and if they want people to like kind of spend more, there are definitely avenues that they can pursue to get more money out of people. It's clear that like skins are a very important feature. And I get a little bitter when I'm like, wow, that skin looks pretty cool, but I can't actually open it up because I wasn't playing the game at that time. The Halloween 2019 actually looks pretty solid, like whatever the case may be. And you can't even do that. They tried to like institute that in like the swap event that just came out, which people seem to be going like after, but then they made it like a 14-day skin, like not a permanent skin. So it's like no one's going to invest in something that's not permanent, unless they're really into it. And it's a much different thing. I think they should actually use skins in a much different way. I think they should actually make you kind of change skins if they really want to monetize it. They should make you change skins for events, where it was like, oh, the Halloween skin is actually better for Horde, and the Easter skin is better for Capital.
That is a good idea.
Like, as opposed to every single March animation being like different and offering you the same exact thing. Make them actually different buffs. So like it adds another like dynamic to the game where it's like, oh, I'm using the defense buff with an attack buff and a march speed buff.
So you have a different build of stats versus everybody else that's building in the same direction. You have like a different build technique. I like
completely
that actually.
And which incorporates more free to play because maybe you make those things less expensive. Maybe you make those 99 cents or $5 or only contribute if like the top up event that only occurs in certain amount of times or, something random. So it's not complete. It seems like they really want to monetize the game, but I think they're very like satisfied with the money that they do get from the game where it's not really forcing them to kind of make any, dramatic changes.
It should be forcing them because, and I can absolutely share this information because it was actually public. This was public information that was posted from their stocks. In the month of March, they brought in just under 6 million.
Wow.
Just in near the end of March 2020. So if you're looking from, a dollar perspective, and again, this is public information, how looking at that, yes, there's money for salary, yes, there's money for game development. You can double that, triple that by implementing some of the stuff we've been talking about.
Yeah.
And there, when you look at, when McVenom was talking about the amount of money she's talked to people or heard about people putting in, we're paying salaries.
Oh,
we're paying somebody's, we are paying somebody's salary for the year.
I'm a nurse and you're paying my salary. Like, with some of the people, the amount that some people put in. I'll be your content manager. I'll be your community manager. Pay me.
For what now seems like a part-time job. It seems like they probably paid attention to stream 1 and then stream 5, and then they'll tune back in and stream 10.
So
because we've definitely assembled
If you go back to the main issue of that, what you were saying there, Delete, like to go sort of back to the start of what you were saying, part of the problem, especially with this SBS thing, it's sort of, I don't know what the word is. It sort of just hammers home the point of what's wrong, because like you got survival of the fittest, which is supposed to be a catch-all event where every single basically aspect of the game is used during a day to get points. So they made a mistake, I think, with state versus state by having the first stage of that basically mimic survival of the fittest, because right there everybody's going, yeah, we're going to hang on to our stuff. I've done it. I haven't used a speed up in like 2 months waiting for it. So yeah, when it comes out and we see survival of the fittest again, we do get mad. We're like, oh, what is going on? Like, just they could cut that in half, the frustration level, just by saying, here's our plan for state versus state. Like, have we heard anything about when it's going to come out for certain states, or what's going on? Like with that, that's the problem. And the communication would, lower everybody's temper about it by, nth degree. So it's just, they miss these little, sort of what seemingly basic, ways to do things that would just make their life easier, right? They don't seem to be putting in a lot of thought into the communication side. I know they are a little bit behind the scenes, but it's not being put out to the users. So we're all kind of like, what the hell is going on?
Even behind the scenes, guys, say hey to the hubby back there.
There he is.
What's up, handsome? Hey, girl. Hey.
Walk by.
Yeah.
Walk right
I
by
told him,
her.
I was like, you need to walk
Mr.
by so I can
McVenom,
give you a butt pinch there, but he's not doing it. Finn and him have a big old bromance going on. But anyway,
he didn't save me.
He didn't save you. So I saw, just real quick to butt in, I saw a donation from Edgar Q, who's the statue in the top right side of the stream, which is so funny because in all of our other streams, Finn is like the crazy, loud, talkative one. And so he's being really good right now. He is Finity from RSG with Reality Skew Gamers. He started Reality Skew Gamers. I joined a little bit later. He streams tons of other games, and Finn is just a wealth of knowledge when it comes to mobile games and development strategies and the business side of it. And just, he's honestly my resource for
and
all
we're going to get him
things.
playing this game.
We're trying to get him playing this game. He's listening and honestly, by the way we're fussing, he might not want to play it, but he honestly is really good for helping start some of the things that we're trying to start, like trying to get them on board with beta programs, with dev Q&As, and like all kinds of things that we're trying to push for. Finn's very integral for starting those things in other games that we played before. So I'm really trying to get him on board with this. Finn, as far as, and also we had Edgar Q, $2, where is the man with the bun? He had to take the night off. He's been here every night since we started, so we gave him the night off. Scorn might pop in later, we don't know, but he just needed a break for tonight.
You need to tell the truth, McVenom. You need to tell the truth.
What's the truth?
Okay? The truth is that he had a tragic man bun accident, and right now we're not sure if he's going to make it.
His man bun came uncoiled and got
He's drinking a lot of wine.
Fan.
He's drinking a lot of wine, and we're hoping that'll pull him through.
We do.
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah. Everyone raise a gallon of wine in his honor.
Everyone type Scorn into the chat so we can say thoughts with Scorn for good wishes for his man bun. But Finn, as far as the community, not so much community manager, like with our other games, we pushed for community content updates, like just giving us knowledge for, what's happening. And I honestly, somebody said something about it's going to make it 100% better. Now, will everybody be 100% satisfied with this game with foreknowledge and information? No. But honestly, pills are easier to swallow when you know about them. When shit happens out of the blue to you, it makes you mad. And so all of this outrage that a lot of people have on the Discord servers and stuff like that is because they weren't aware that it was coming. They weren't aware of the thought process behind those decisions. So if that is at least explained, yeah, we can say it's BS or we don't agree with it, but we can't get truly angry, livid because we didn't know. And that's a big problem, especially when you have an investment. You know, anybody else that puts an investment into a car, into any purchase you make, you research it, you know what it's about, you know the history of it, you know what you're buying. And so with this game, when you don't know what you're buying and you don't know what's happening, it gets you pissy, really. I mean, because you just don't know what your investment's doing. So that's a big problem.
But then that just degrades the entire, you know, situation too. Is, you know, no communication coming about what's going on. People get frustrated, and then their response is not, you know, in a lot of cases on the Discord, I know I very rarely go into it now because a lot of it is not productive conversation at all.
But it's more frustration. Right? It's out of frustration.
Yeah.
It really
so
is.
then the cycle continues down the line. Like,
because then the devs don't want to read it. They don't want to listen to feedback because then you're right. It's like a vicious cycle of like, they don't want to listen because it's negative, but we keep giving negative feedback because we're not getting information. So it's just like this awful cycle. Finn, how in the past and like other mobile games how slow is that process of getting that good community information up front? Do some game developers are better, or is it just one of those learning processes? Like, what do you think in this situation?
It depends on the game and to the strategy that the company decides to use. And what Daedric said earlier is correct, right? Depending on which population you're trying to cater towards, right? Are you trying to get the highest highest spenders, right, and focusing on them, or are you going to try and spread it out? It gets to the question of, do you want to be the big fish in a little pond or a little fish in a big pond, right? What category of spenders are you trying to get? So if you're focusing on the highest end and you're trying to just focus on the really top end spenders, right? And I'm gonna make a guess here, is that there are probably terms thrown around like ripoffs, predatory practice, and they don't know what they're doing. There's no value in these packs, right? You're probably getting that because that's what they have to do. It's a cycle in any game that has microtransactions, because unlike, let's say, a car, for example, right? You buy a car, you're not really expected to buy a car for another 3 years, 4 years, if you're doing it on a lease, 8 years, 9 years, right? So they're focusing on this one-time purchase and you're done, right? Cut it clean, you don't have to go back. Mobile games with microtransactions are trying to get you to pay pretty much every month and trying to get from you a few $100s over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Like, that's the business model that they have. So ultimately what happens is that the player base gets upset. Player base, just being players, see them as just constantly trying to get their money. Meanwhile, the company is like, well, of course we have to get our money, otherwise we can't keep the game going, right? So the only way to resolve this, in all honesty, is it's easier said than done, which is to almost get a full reset. That's kind of what you guys are saying. Because I think what Silver was saying earlier is exactly right. Once something bad happens, right, and the community starts going negative against the developers then look back and say, why do we need to bother? If we do something, we make one mistake and they're going to jump down our throat. Well, we're not going to bother communicating. So then they don't communicate. And then that cycles again. And they're like, well, they're still being negative. We released something good that we thought was good. They didn't like it. So it becomes negative. Okay, we're just not going to say anything. And it just creates this whole cycle. They don't see the players necessarily as investors. They just see players as people giving them money. And the only way to change that is to basically fundamentally have a communication with them. Small groups of people, right? And that's effectively what the beta programs usually are. The beta programs for most games are designed to be a group of players that the developers listen to, negative or positive feedback, but don't take it personally to the point where they think they're getting bashed. They think of it as being more towards improving the quality of the game. if you go on Reddit, that's not the place to get your feedback usually, because Reddit is a dumpster fire. So if you use Reddit and you look at Reddit and you take that to get your information, well, of course you're going to get pissy every time you read it. There's like nothing good on Reddit ever. Like you can put out the best thing ever, and freaking Reddit is going to start criticizing the fact that you couldn't have put out more. Like that's just normal process. So it is going to require, hopefully, an open mind on the developer side, a group of trusted players on their side that they're going to be like, okay, we can trust this group of people. And at least from so far, while I watch you guys and I know nothing about the game, you guys all seem invested enough in the game and also willing to give constructive criticism, not just blaming them for no reason. And this could be the group that would give the honest criticism and feedback, right? And then they can just work with this small group.
Yeah.
Communication, on the other hand, is free, right? It's goodwill with the community that buys you extra time whenever you F up. And everyone is bound to F up. But if you have goodwill with the community, they're willing to overlook it. But if every time it's just a cycle of just anger because they're voicing their opinions in a negative way, nothing good is ever going to happen.
Yeah.
That's the thing, too. The reason why this model works surprisingly well for developers is really the only voice that players have is with their wallet. The only way that you can really truly, in most cases, enact, a change in thinking from developers is by not buying stuff. So the inherent problem in that is it's all individual. Whether I buy or you buy or the next guy buys is an individual decision. It's not a collective one. So the model, they've become, not this company specifically, but in general, they're comfortable because the model itself is very difficult to, break down from a pay to play perspective. Like most people, there's always going to be that group of people that will spend everything, on everything that they can get and everything else. That's just the way the games work. The problem with that is, and the thing that they miss with that is exactly what you guys have been talking about, and we've been talking about all night, is that communication buffer in the middle. And even listening to, your trusted players that are trying to give you, constructive feedback that looks at it from not only the player's perspective, but the developer's perspective. That's the difference between good advice and, file 13 stuff. And that's the way I hope that this developer starts looking at it, is there is a group of people out here that are heavily invested in the game and love the game and want to continue on with the game, but take what they can give you, and everything you make off the suggestions is free money. Like, we're not getting paid to give them good ideas, right? That's a lot of developers miss that piece, and they see the absolute wall of bullshit that goes on in terms of how people react, and they just right away say, oh, I'm not going to filter through that in order to deal with the few comments in there that maybe are constructive. So this idea of breaking it down to a small group of people is really it's a ready-made solution for King's Group. They just need to really embrace it, and they need to drive it instead of having groups like us trying to drive it. Just take what we give you and let's build a framework around it to give them the help that they need to understand where we're coming from.
Well, as I was talking, I think it was, I can't remember what stream it was. I think it might have been the one with Nimki, where, Nimki was visibly, or audibly upset about all the issues going on. But I think we all kind of agreed that, we can either quit, and a lot of us aren't ready to quit. We've invested too much in it, and we still enjoy the game. Regardless of the issues, we still do enjoy the game, or we enjoy the community enough to keep trying to push it forward, that it's either quit or it's try to do these little steps. And we have been trying really hard. You guys don't know the behind the scenes work that is going on within our group, and other groups that are pushing to get Q&A dev answers and a beta program, and just getting some information out to the community. We're pushing really hard. So, I'm not going to say be patient, because that's childish to be just calm down and wait, because they're all valid issues. But just know that, you know, we're all trying very hard to get this going because we do want to keep playing this game. And like Finn said, you know, it takes a small community of getting through to the devs and realizing that not everybody is just bashing and viciously attacking. We really want the game to continue. Like, we want it to continue because we want to play it. So these are steps that we're telling you that will work, or at least what we think will work. And this is a big group of people knowing their stuff about games. We played games for years. We know what will work or what would keep us interested. So listen to us. And I think they're mostly open to the possibility of trying some of these things out. I think it's just really getting that trust factor in because, as Silver Wolf said, it has been a vicious cycle of just negativity lately. Not so much on all our fault, not on the community's fault, but it's just that's where we're at now. And we have to kind of break through that cycle.
I wonder how many people in an older state have restarted an account. You know,
tons,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Because they have new content that we don't have. Finn, this is another thing that is really a huge issue for us is that the newer state, like they're opening new states all the time. So up to a certain point, we all have a certain amount of content that are gameplay. So what they've done is they've released a whole nother game. How would you describe that, Daedric? Like game style, gameplay, whole new template.
Yeah, so
in the new states.
Mechanics of alliances is completely on another spectrum. We're talking buildings you can construct. It's more of a command and conquer style map where you're now building a hive that's not actually a hive anymore. You're actually branching out territory and capturing structures on the map adjacent to your towers to basically increase march speeds, attack, defense, farming, all this great stuff. The technology mechanics have completely changed. So they've added things like actual march speed now is an alliance research tech that you can get. And a vast number of other technologies. So the whole alliance specific mechanic has changed. And that's what the game is based off of, right? So when they made the new states, they totally changed that gameplay. So the question I have, and it's a very straightforward one, we don't want a political answer, are the older states getting it or not? Yes or no?
It is absolutely, and you know, McVenom and I have talked about this before, Scorn and I have talked about it before offline. It is absolutely critical that they answer that question and they answer it soon. Because I will tell you, the number one thing that is, other than the state versus state not showing up and, you know, being cloudy about when we're going to get it, the number one thing that people are complaining about is that, what does this mean for the older states?
Yeah, it's like they just forgot about everybody.
That's a valid question. And I mean, there's got to be a lot of stuff involved with trying to take that new, you know, model of how the gameplay is and slap it on top of the older states. Like I totally understand from their perspective, there's probably a lot of issues around that, but be honest about that and say, you know what, yes, this is what we're doing. We are going to bring it to the older states. You know, that answer more than anything else is absolutely, in my opinion, critical to give to this community, because there's a lot of heavily invested players in older states that have quit or that are starting to think about quitting, that have started new accounts in the newer states. I started a new account in one of the newer states just to see what the gameplay was about.
Yeah.
Finn, right? I mean, I'm not going to stay and play there because, I mean, I'm too invested in my state. But I don't want to be, I also don't want to be part of, you know, oh, well, yeah, you know, you guys have spent your money and we can't really figure out how to roll this out for you. So, you know, we're going to let you die off over time. We're already dying off in older states with state versus state and, you know, just natural, you know, the other question, honestly, to add on to that, they need to answer is, are they ever going to, do they have a plan in place to ever consider merging states?
Yeah.
So I think that question needs to be answered too.
So what I would say to give the developers free advice, and I said this to McVenom, you want to talk about monetizing stuff, easy. You know, put a thing in, and this is possible. And I know that, like, not being a software guy, not knowing the coding, I know it is possible based off of where the game is at today and the mechanics of the game today. The fact that we can do state versus state and cross borders proves that we would have the ability to go into a new state. So HQs that are level 10 and lower have the option of transferring, which means at any level, should they put in the proper coding, we would have the ability to transfer to a new state. Now, here's an easy way to monetize it. Here you go, players. We'll give you the option to transfer to a new state if you buy a certain number of migration passes or buy a product, $25, $50, whatever it is. You're making money off of it, but you're giving people the opportunity to go into a different state. So maybe, rather than if a state's going to die off, then you're actually giving players a choice. You're not forcing them. You're giving them a choice by giving them a product to buy. Either you buy the product or you don't, but you have an option to stay where you are or purchase this pass and move over here.
I think that's
Well,
the key.
even if they went about it a different way, though.
Would you still go to a different state if you say they basically created an algorithm that okay, so if you wanted to go to the newest state, you would join that newest state as middle of the road. Would you still do it? Or would you drop 3 levels in your settlement in order to join that newest state?
Hell yeah.
You can either
3?
Well,
so only 3?
People aren't going to do that if they're paying for the privilege of moving like that. Yeah. And this is the other thing that's kind of, if you look at, I totally agree with Daedric about that particular dynamic in the game would be an easy one to scale up in terms of their revenue. It would absolutely be. The problem is, give you an example of say us in state 20. If all of 100 of us decided we wanted to move to the newest state as a group, as an alliance, that's a little unfair to that state, right? They're going to have to spend a lot of money to catch up to where we're at. So there's inherent problems in that. But I forget what game it was. I played a game a long time ago for quite a while, and they used to merge states. They'd bring out a new few states, and then they'd wait a little while, and then they'd merge 3 or 4 or 5 states together. And in this game, it's very similar. The older states start to die out. They get consolidated. They get, the main players that are still playing and are still active are basically in 1 or 2 or 3 alliances, usually in the older states. And they're big and they're strong and they dominate everything. If they have to find, I think, some kind of happy medium for the old states, whether it's, merging with other states so that to create more competition, whether it's, Daedric's idea, they have to find something. And more importantly than that, they have to have a plan communicated for what's going to happen to these older states, because people are livid about this new dynamic, this new, they feel like the feeling out there. And like they say, if you have nothing to say, if you're not saying anything about it, then people's imaginations and their perceptions are what are going to rule the day. So people's perceptions right now are that old states are considered dead money to the devs, and they're not going to get the attention that they deserve. And it's up to the devs and the community team that they should have in place to communicate with us why that's not the case, or why we shouldn't think that, or here's what we're trying to figure out and plan. It doesn't have to be we have a plan in place and it's going to be perfect. Nobody's asking for that, but you're asking for, do you have a plan? Is there a plan for the older states to be, somehow revitalized in this new world that you're trying to bring out with the new states? They need to answer.
I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine, because it seems like the older states have just been waiting for newer stuff forever. And I feel like a large percentage, I feel like their necessity to migrate the game to an equal platform is lessened, because so many people are quitting the old game and then saying, you know what, I'm going to start a new settlement in a new state and I'm going to build it the right way. And then it just restarts the spending habits that they already had. So I feel like that's like a, it's almost like a revenue generator, like let you die out. And then because we know that you like the game so much that we're just going to make you reform and just kind of come in, and revitalize the game for our new
That's why new states
Yeah.
come out. That's the
Yeah.
whole idea about why that was originally developed in games. You can say it's for, server issues and all kinds of stuff, but it's not. It's the fact that a big chunk of money that they make is from a new state. So in terms of the spending that happens to get people from 0 to 60, you know what I mean? Like from 0 to level 30, that spending is
tremendous
compared to what old states will spend.
Yeah, which kind of leans back into like what Finn was saying, where it strengthens their bottom line because the microtransactions outweigh, like the like consistent spending that you need to do. Like Finn, in this game, you can't just buy the pack that you want. You have to buy the $5 pack, the $10 pack, the $20 pack, the $50 pack, and then you have to buy the $100 pack. Like at different levels of the game, the $50 pack almost feels like it's overspending, and like at the level that everyone is on the stream, basically, the $100 pack is just like, I need to buy like 12 of these.
Yeah.
In order
I'm
to
still
kind
a
of
baby. I still am just about to hit 28. I'm still a baby compared to you guys.
That's the one thing with all of these, right? So two things I'll say. One, the packs and everything, as much as we view them as buying your advantage in the game, right? Really what the packs are buying is time.
Yes.
In all of these games, everything is basically free. If you want it to be, you just have to invest extra time. So you're literally paying time is money in these games, and that's what you pay. You pay for the ability to get things quicker. It's not like you can't get these things if you don't spend extra time. So the hardest thing for the developer is to try and equate how much time has changed on particular things, right? So it sounds like they have packs that scale up as you get higher in your levels, right? In your castle levels.
Just like
yeah. And so if the $10 pack, when you bought it, you might be a veteran player and now you've been playing for a couple of years, but somebody newer is coming in, that $10 pack still has the same kind of time advantage to them as when you bought it. It's just that there's more things to now buy, right? So, and the developers have been playing along with the highest advanced players. So what happens for most of these games is that they don't scale back the earlier stuff. They just continue the trend of the newer stuff, and the prices go up. They go up, they go up, they go little by little all the way up. And it just gets to the point where the price point gets high because they still see the newer players coming up and saying, well, that $10 pack provided that much of a time benefit for somebody. It's still that time benefit. Why would I change the price? But this stuff is more valuable, so let's increase the price on these. And it becomes a hard thing to balance, but that is the scaled pricing of packs is the only way to really balance this out. But it sounds like maybe they've overweighted it at the top, so that they're to the point where if they're already at $50 a pack, then you're probably looking at 100, 200, and it's going to get.
You know what these games do a lot of, and I've seen it right. Every game that I think I've ever played sort of does it. Is over time, it becomes less expensive, relatively speaking, to be more powerful.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's just a byproduct of how these games work. Like I keep coming back to Game of War, but it was like the first
because of rewards.
one.
You get more rewards, you get more things faster, quicker. Like
when I played Game of War, I started it right when it started. So I was one of the first players, and I spent a lot of money on it, and I was one of the strongest players in that game for the first few years. What I saw happen that made me eventually leave the game is that, eventually a guy could join the game, spend a couple $100 and be comparative to me in power with all the money that I spent. And that made me mad. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, come on, but that's what happens over time. And in these new states, it feels like that's sort of what they're trying to start putting into place, is that we want these states to catch up to older states so that everybody's kind of, then we can do state versus state or whatever the case may be. So I haven't looked at the packs in the new states and in terms of what you get for what you spend, but I strongly think that, like most games, it'll eventually be you get more for your money. And the one problem I find with this game with the spending too, and one of the reasons why I don't spend very much anymore, is that it never goes back down for anything of real. There's one or two cheaper packs that show up once in a while that are pretty good, but they're one-offs that show up for events or whatever. But for the most part, once you spent up to that $100, you have to spend the $100 again. There's
Are
no
you talking
real
about the
other
one-time
option.
packs and the one-time deals and stuff like
Yeah,
that?
the ones that show up for, when they put on a different event, and then, they'll throw out a pack that has actually some decent stuff in it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's nothing ever goes back down to $1 or $5 or $10 or $20. It's once you're up at that high level, you're up at that high level, and there's not a whole bunch you can do about it.
Yeah, you're just committed. You're committed to the $175 spend in order to get anywhere, to be strong enough to or actually have enough materials to kind of get what you want. I mean, the top end spending in this game gets aggressive. It gets aggressive to be where if someone just maxes out packs nonstop, to catch them, the dollar amount is intense, and it makes you buy a lot of things that you don't necessarily need. The packs are the only thing that you can buy, but 90% of the pack you really don't need.
Is it your state though that's, I can't remember, but is it your state that has the guy that came in out of nowhere and spent a ton of money, or was that, I can't remember who that was.
Yeah,
that's our state.
Yeah, he came in, maxed out packs for 2 weeks. Thank God he's actually stopped.
He's plateaued a bit, although delete might spur him on again with the stream.
Yeah, probably. Been trying not to, but hey, it's only money. He stopped at 140 million, which for state 125, and then we actually had Ducky on, which is in state 115, and state 115 stats were much better than his, and I know one of the members, or at least one of the members, is watching tonight and chatting, so it might spur him on to kind of spend a little bit more. But
I can see him going back saying, hey, they said you stopped spending.
Yeah, I mean, but it was
a couple more packs.
It's basically coming to the point where it was he was maxing out packs, so it was the game protects itself because you can't overspend at one time. It'll stop you from spending, which is strange for we keep coming back to the Kings Group does everything monetarily, but
why do they have a cap?
Why do they have a cap if they want to do that? They just seem stuck in the middle. They've got a boardroom with 2 people that are free to play, 2 people that are pay to play, and then there's that one swing boat that's just I don't know.
Maybe they've got a boardroom with us, with all different personalities and all different styles, and they just can't they're trying to meet in the middle somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, we've provided them with an extra boardroom, which is just invaluable. I mean, Daedric said, we've provided them with a boardroom that has discussed in-depth topics with extreme extreme on top of our chat, which a lot of people that are chatting here are just extremely smart, and you can tell that so many people care about this game, and so they have the hard part right. Getting people to invest and care about the game is something that they have definitely done well enough to a point where we have a stream, we have people watching, we have people chatting, and it's the next step is it just seems like the next step, and the progression is it almost a bunch of guys that were just in a frat, they were just let's create a game. Yeah, I think this will be pretty cool. Yeah, this will be pretty cool. Yeah, I like this. And then they we're holy shit, this actually worked. What do we do now? We never thought that this would actually work. Where Swaga is not to keep bringing up other games, but Swaga is backed by Star Wars, so they have to have
they're backed by EA Sports, which is a huge company, so
a detailed business plan about how they're going to protect the game. And I used to play Marvel Contest of Champions, so it was they had, and the developers would flat out tell you, we've got a 5-year plan of characters we're going to bring out, things that are going to kind of happen.
you know, so it was just like, wow, okay, wow, that's cool. So you automatically get invested in that progression, you know, and it's like you stop playing and you're going to miss a note. And next thing you know, you're completely irrelevant if you just miss that note. This game really doesn't have that, besides the fact that they're changing the game in new states and they're not updating old states
So
to basically play in the same level.
So I needed to bring up something about that. I wanted to ask Finn this. So Finn, to you guys that were talking about the free to play aspect. So Finn has taught me that I was an instant gratification girl for a long time. Like I spent a lot of money on games, not even gonna lie, Game of War, things like that. Playing with Finn has taught me the virtue of patience and long game playing, and that I get more enjoyment out of like slow growth. And I know that's not for everybody. That's just my style, and I've learned that from Finn. He is, I think I told you guys that I've only known like a couple of players that have been able to free to play competitively through planning and patience, and Finn is one of those. And that's not because he can't spend the money. He's a doctor. He can spend the money. He just chooses to play differently. However, I have a question for Finn about like have you ever played a game where they release certain content to certain people and not to others? Because that is the one huge issue I have with this game, is like, as somebody that would be investing in the game, if you are a huge investor, like that would irritate me more than anything, is to say that my state, because I joined earlier, doesn't get this content that these players are getting. Have you ever seen that in another game? I've never seen that.
Because of when you started playing?
Yeah, like
no.
they just released new content and they released it to the last, 100 states or 50 states, but not to any of the other states. And won't give any
that's
information
common
about when it's coming out.
Yeah, that's common in games, but not for the purposes of you starting the game too early, right? I mean, that's basically the whole concept behind expansion packs with any game you play, right? You have to pay extra in order to get
expansion
access.
packs, and
you pay for those expansion
packs.
packs.
You don't have access to it here unless you start all over.
So for time purposes, I can't recall an instance of that where if you started too early that you weren't able to get access. But actually, to that point, you bring up something interesting, and Daedric brought up this point, and I don't know if this is where you got that idea from about the server transfer and $25, right? Because it just reminded me of something. Most of these games really don't have to be innovative. As weird as that sounds, they don't have to be innovative. Gaming industry has been around for years. So pretty much, if there is a problem, a solution has already been found somewhere before you that you just basically need to copy. I'm not sure if this is where you got that idea from, Daedric, but I'm going to go back to a different game that I'm going to guess a lot of people have played, and that is World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
And I don't know if a lot of you guys remember back in the old school classic days, not the new classic days, but the old school classic days. There were a handful of servers, and you were stuck on those servers, just flat out stuck. And if your server had a bunch of like dying people and they just weren't playing, you got stuck in a server with just like your guild, and you just weren't able to recruit, right? And it got really messy. Some were overpopulated, some were just underpopulated. I was in one of the top guilds at the time in World of Warcraft, but we were on a server without a lot of huge competition. I think we were normally in the top 10 to finish the content, but we had one of the most overpopulated servers in World of Warcraft. And for those of you guys that may remember, the server was Warsong, and the Warsong server was like just took about 30 minutes to even log into the game.
Slow your roll, get to the point.
Hey, I like my nerdiness, but here's my point. They then allowed for character realm transfers, where they shot up a bunch of new servers, and when they originally shot them up, said, everybody, you can go ahead and transfer your character for free for the next month. As soon as that's done, we're now going to charge you $25 in order to move your character into
like a free time transfer. And you get a free
one-time transfer to a different server. Now, our guild got completely screwed because it happened to be that we picked a low population server and then also managed to get Death and Taxes and Drama, the top 2 guilds in World of Warcraft at the time, on the same freaking server as us. So that was not pleasant, but that's I'm going on the sidetrack here. But the whole concept of moving servers, right, can be free the first time. So this issue that you're talking about with regards to the older servers or the older states not having access to something new that they release, right? And then you guys also talking about states merging and all these kind of things. Sounds like there's an easy solution here where they just pull up a bunch of new states and tell everybody, well, here's your one-time transfer. You guys have 1 month in order to transfer to a new state. After that month, it'll be $25 for a pass in order to move to a different state. And done. Like, it seems like that solves everything, right? Am I missing something here in listening to you guys? Nope. Or does that basically solve everything?
No, a tremendous amount of people would take that $25 and probably even make it $50 in order to make the game like more interesting. Because
totally would do it.
The game mechanics and the introduction of new modes or like events have been extremely slow in coming. So like everyone that's been playing for a year has been basically, kind of like just forgotten about, like the people that have been playing for like, state 125, what are we, 120 days? So we're 4 months in.
No, not even. We're not even that far, are we?
We're very close. I feel like my VIP level was at like 119 days consecutive logged in, which is, so that's, you're looking at, that's 4 months for us. Maybe even, it's 4 months for us. And a lot of people that are in state, 1 through 50 have been waiting patiently to like unleash the monster to the point where they're like consolidating, alliances, and to the point where it's like we probably have in state 125 at 120 days, we have 7 alliances that are still actively participating in the game. And a lot of them, the consolidation is already started, where like, oh, this person wants to quit, this person's quitting, no one feels like they have hope. This is going on, and it's just like, wow, it's a major drag on the game, to the point where you don't have people to fight, like at events, everything's kind of decided beforehand, but then you hear about like people reach out to me and they're like, wow, how in the world is it the same governor? You guys have only like state 125 has actually had only 2 governors. 3 in Wall and now 3 in Rod. There has been, so that's 2 alliances out of like starting at probably 15 alliances, now down to 7 effective, like actually hold governor. Most of the games
multiply that though. Multiply that by, like, if you look at our state
exponentially
20, we've had 1 governor, us, from the start. Nobody else has ever won capital.
And you talk to Scorn, and Scorn is just like, we've actually went away from having an alliance period where it's like everyone, is kind of on the same page. So it's almost like the game has like the different states have turned against King's Group in a way. So where like people are actually just like actively just trying to like effectively get stronger for state versus state, by not contributing. And like contributing in a different way to make themselves stronger in a way, that is where where older states have become. There's definitely some states that are like, yeah, we've established rules, we've established this, we've done this, there are nice people in this. Everyone just doesn't want to get attacked. People don't want to lose things. That's the like, it's cool in a way that it allows the freedom to kind of like decide your state's fate by yourself. And amongst the group, but it's also tremendously ineffective for like monetary growth to have it that way. Tremendously ineffective to have
that's
it
the cycle. That's the cycle. And that's the problem.
What are you laughing at, Delete? I mean,
I said, Venom, spill the beans. You've got.
I'm laughing at chat. I'm laughing at chat. I just can't help it. I'm drunk laughing at chat right now, and I'm trying not to like.
You know what I'll say though. Like for me personally, like I'd love to move states just so I could, coordinate and go to a state with like some of you guys, right? Like people that I've met in the game.
Oh my
that
gosh,
aren't
we
in
have
my
so
state.
much fun. This panel right here, we have so much fun together. You guys don't even know. After we finish a stream, we end up like chatting for an hour afterwards, like talking about
They can imagine.
Daedric's cats
They can imagine.
and Silverworth's kids and Delete and his porch. I mean, we're just like constantly talking about stupid shit. And we have so much fun. I could totally see us like just porting together to a state and like, okay, we're going to defend against Daedric today. Daedric's going to go on a rampage because his cats are in a bad mood. Like, let's just all be ready.
I want to be in Daedric's state just to see the attacks being like.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Oh my god,
it's like a badge of honor in the game. If you haven't been zeroed by Daedric, come on, man.
For real. Like,
I want Daedric to fill my enlistment office. I want him to have more. I want to have more enlistment than like Vietnam War status. At that point.
Jeez.
Colossus, you were totally down to come, man. You were so cool. Colossus is a great guy. Whose alliance is he? I think he's in Tits of Fury. Who actually, she's so awesome. She messaged me and said, "Hey, I'm not going to be able to be on the live stream, but I'm going to be rooting for you guys later." She's just so super supportive of the things that we're doing. So I'm like, that chick could come to my state any day. Like,
yeah,
she's fantastic.
I think besides like all the issues with the chat and the translator being like really, really kind of just awkward at times, it's probably the best way to put it. This game has great bones, and I think it has the potential to be just extremely strong game. I mean, even today, I feel like with the newest update, I feel like they changed game mechanics with like attacks and rallies and things of that nature that actually make it really strong, even stronger, because there were a couple of attacks and we had our fortresses today and bunkers, and there were facilities and bunkers. And there were definitely times where it was like, wow, we should have definitely won that. And like 3 patches ago, we definitely would have. But like today, we didn't win them, So it was like, let me take a different look at the game and my setup to kind of make it that much better. Maybe I need to change my talents. There are so many different dynamics that you delve into this game that are extremely strong and extremely manipulative in the way that you can kind of make yourself such a different player. Plus, me and Venom actually want to go to a new state and become mean people. Because right now we're nice
Me
people.
and Delete have like a secret pact that we're going to go to a new state and be Daedrics, like mega villains. But then we've both discussed that like we would never be able to do it because we are natural born teachers and parents and like
I'm the guy that
like
do it. I'm the guy that like
so
zeroes
bad.
you and then goes attack my farm.
Yes,
get your
he does. He legit does. Like he has zeroed people and been like, hit my farm because I know you.
I'm
need
so
to
sorry.
regrow.
I'm
Like,
so sorry. Hit my farm.
It's bad.
You know what the most important part of all of that is, right?
What?
Apparently, McVenom does not understand the definition of the word secret.
Did I say secret? Oh, he doesn't care. He's just as vocal as he's a talkative person like me.
Worst
kindred spirits,
secret pact ever.
Finn, it's like me and you. I will talk to anybody about it.
Finn, I feel like you need to expand upon that. What secret did she give out of yours?
She knows that.
I know everything about Finn. Finn and I have met in real life several times. We've hung out. We've gotten drunk together. We've thrown axes together. We went to an axe bar and threw axes together. I'll send you guys the video footage of it. Yeah, he's like my best friend. Like he's honestly like a brother. All of these guys are like brothers at this point now. My husband, who you saw coming through, was just like, your brothers are insane. I don't know. You collect them like Daedric does cats. That's what he said.
The best question of the day.
Daedric. The reaction.
He watches the stream and he's like, you collect brothers like Daedric does cats.
Okay, yeah. McVenom.
Yeah, look, Daedric, tell us about your new acquisition.
Oh, I'm fostering a kitten.
See?
So I've got 5
Daedric
cats.
collects cats.
Yeah.
We want to see him.
Yeah, it's a 7-week-old tuxedo cat.
Oh, do you have them anywhere we can see them?
She's sleeping upstairs.
Next stream.
Next time you get drunk with Finn, I suggest, well, both of you are completely out of your minds, go into State of Survival and translate Russian chat. I have never seen some horrendous translations. I translated a sentence the other day, and it said this from Russian to English translation: "We need to fly quickly and punch the cow in the bladder."
Okay, I'm
So
gonna
my
raise
favorite
the bar.
was you have a haircut and a donkey on your head. Like, I didn't know what the haircut meant something about getting in close to the hive. Like, I saw a haircut a bunch of times and it meant getting in close to the hive, but I still don't know what donkey on your head means. Like, it's something weird.
I've definitely found
You guys, I'm gonna raise the bar on you.
Oh.
I'm gonna raise the bar on you. I have actually been drunk enough to understand the Russian translator. I'm not even joking. It actually made sense to me, and I I asked everybody, like, am I right about this? And they're like, how do you see that? It was an awesome moment.
Oh.
It's almost like
I felt
Pig
like I
Latin.
connected
You're
to the
breaking the code that they didn't want you to know. Delete, what were
But
you going to say?
It's never happened again.
Next
come on.
stream, we're punching a cow in the bladder. That's what we're doing.
I've seen some wild ones though, like I'm gonna attack your watermelon with my sweat socks. Like, I've seen stuff like that. No, it's like what the hell? Like, number one, I'm actually concerned about that threat. Like, what does that mean? Like,
That sounds like a Saturday afternoon to me. That's what that sounds like.
So before I need to go for just a second while you guys talk amongst yourself, but before I go, I wanted to say Bean from Rod, delete, she's in our general 125.
Yeah, I love Bean.
She is listening, and I like Bean a lot, to be honest. She's very articulate. She doesn't get crazy upset. She doesn't get into the insult thing, which I super appreciate.
She's a brawler.
And an
Bean's
opponent.
a brawler.
If you're an opponent and you don't get down to the whole insult level but can still talk and like fight, I'm cool with you, girl. So she said, I'm driving down the road and I can't respond, but something that's been missed in the technical hardware that's required with this game. They can't do some of the things that people want because the hardware investment will be huge. They barely manage what they have now. So that's an interesting concept. So you guys,
I agree with that, because I feel like with the newest update, and just today in our facilities and bunkers, I was in a bunker, and then all of a sudden, I had basically dropped out of that bunker automatically. Someone had basically kicked me out, which I think I'm R5 at the time. Not that I'm boasting that I'm R5, because I definitely don't. But I was R5 at the time, so no one should be able to actually take me out of that. And I was automatically just sent out. So it was extremely weird. And the game just seemed like extra crashy today, more than it ever has. Completely on Wi-Fi super strong, whatever the case may be. So I can definitely see the servers and strength of the infrastructure of the game affecting the things that they can actually do.
I've seen things like that before, where just suddenly someone's not there. It's never happened to me in a facility, but I have seen that before. And I think when they update the game, it's been well documented by a lot of complainers that every time they do an update, they update 2 things and they break 50. Yeah. And that, I have a lot of patience for that, to be honest with you, because it's kind of part and parcel, right? There's all kinds of stuff that's going to happen that you don't anticipate happening. But yeah, there are some weird idiosyncrasies going on with combat. I've noticed the last little while. There's some things that maybe they've tweaked something, maybe they've changed it. Showdown's another one. It just no rhyme or reason to winning or losing that. And it's funny. I was slagging Sporn today because we actually beat his alliance 2-1 in Showdown, and last time he single-handedly wrecked our two top players, not one but two, and they beat us 3-0. Like, it just there's no rhyme or reason to some stuff, and that's where communication would help. If they just said, like, this is how we're, what we're updating, whatever. But they kind of miss that, and I think it creates unnecessary drama. If you don't know why something happened, and your mind immediately, as 90% of the players do, their mind immediately goes to the negative, right?
Yeah.
It's something, they've done something nefarious here, and they're doing it, for whatever reason. Most of the time, that's not why that stuff happens. It's just an unanticipated result of another change that they've made. And there's so many layers to it that it's pretty hard to not do that, to not have something kind of go out of whack. But it's just, again, it's all comes down to that same piece of, with a little bit of communication, with a little bit of humility about things that happen in the game, it would go a long way to stem some of that hatred that happens, right? Like, if they just came out and said, oh, wow, that didn't work out how we wanted. We were trying to do this. This ended up happening. We're going to fix that. We're going to do this. Everybody's sort of anxiety level about it would come down, and they'd probably be able to get a little bit more, breathing space from because it's bad, man. Like, I mean, I feel bad at times seeing some of the stuff that's said on the Discord and whatever. Like, I mean, it's so over the top that I don't blame them half the time for just saying, this is garbage. Like, how do I even filter through and respond? Like, I'd rather just not say anything. Like, I can actually understand that to some degree, but it's not helping them.
Yeah. No, and it was what was the issue that I had? So, like, I don't know, we were in a complex battle, and a solo hit goes unregistered in Capital. If someone solos you, like, say you just face 8 rallies in a row, and then a reinforcement takes you out, it does not show up in your log report. And that was probably like 4 weeks ago, and it was just like, we were left kind of like figuring out what the hell was going on.
What just happened?
Besides the point that codename is Bladder Puncher, and Adric has the cutest cat in the world.
Look at this kitten.
Bladder Puncher. I love that name. What is the name of the kitty?
Yeah, what's the kitten's name?
I think you should name her T McV. Just saying.
So, for those of you that know Elder Scrolls, her name is Azura.
What is your name?
And Azura, and Azura is one of the Daedric. Azura is one of the Daedric princes, and she's the prince of the moon and stars and night and day.
You're such a nerd. I love it.
Sounds like you are totally not keeping that cat. Sounds like you are
Finn.
totally fostering.
Yeah, exactly. Finn. It's a permanent fostering.
There is no
situation.
Finn. It is codename Bladder Puncher.
So codename Bladder Puncher, you have to
Yes.
get Daedric involved in the D&D sessions that you do, because I feel like Daedric would be so good at it. He would just be all in on it, wouldn't he?
Scorn
would
down.
too. Scorn liked to play D&D as well.
Yeah. I haven't gotten to D&D. I haven't. I'm sorry. I still have actually nightmares
trying to get me to do it.
About the console video arcade game that I couldn't figure out because I was, just not mentally there yet.
You should come watch us play Don't Starve. You would like that. It's a really fun, complicated game. We do Don't Starve on Tuesday nights on Twitch, and Finn annoys the hell out of me. So does Durgan. Durgan.
Oh my God, so lost.
It's so much fun though. It's so frustrating and so difficult, but so much fun.
I watched an hour and 20 minutes of that stream,
and you didn't even know what was going on. It's a fun game. Oh my God.
It was like, this guy's destroying our boxes. Wait, we have plenty of food to eat.
No,
let's go drive the ship.
The whole joke is that
not being able to drive the ship. I don't want to do that again.
The whole joke is the chest. I am very OCD, so I organize all of the chest with the materials that we need.
She's also the worst sailor ever.
Yes, I am. I'm a bad driver. I'm not even denying that. But my chests are perfect. Like, my organized chests are perfect. And Durgan's job is he cuts wood and he puts wood in the chest. So it's always about Durgan filling my
Like,
box with wood.
I was
So
like,
that's
oh
the
my-
whole joke.
So then it was like Treebeard's here. Treebeard's like on fire. Oh my god! I
Mm.
hope Treebeard doesn't.
Okay, I got a
Billy, you
jet,
should
guys.
come join. You should come join one day. You would
Bye,
love it.
Silver.
Honestly, it's fun. It's fun.
You guys,
Silver,
I
are you
gotta go.
out?
Silver.
Yeah, my kids are hungry.
Tell the kids enjoy their hamburger helper. I know you
They
cooked
don't
it and
deserve-
it was delicious.
Hamburger helper, really? Really?
I love
Hey,
you.
Come on now.
Have a good
Don't
night.
knock
Come on
the
now.
hand.
You're
That hurts
cute
me.
as a button with your looking off
I'm
in
not
the
that
distance.
talented. I can't make that.
I keep waiting for your picture to point in the distance, like you're pointing at a mountain. Like you're
Why
so
is you know what? You know
focused.
what? I just realized that my picture is actually up.
I love your picture. It's a good Viking
and you know
picture
why?
there with your stubble.
You know why? I had to actually change it the other day for another Zoom call that I was on because I had my wolf one up there, right? But I had to change it for another Zoom call that I was on, and I just realized just now that I never changed it back.
I just realized that your face expression in that is, what the fuck is this guy doing in front of me?
No, it's
That-
not. It's very
exactly
majestic,
what
like
it
he's
is.
looking at a mountain that he wants to climb one day.
It looks like someone is in reverse in the middle of a parking lot for no apparent reason. That's
Possibly.
what
You know what that picture? My daughter took that picture of me without me knowing about it because I'm very anti-picture. I don't like my picture taken at all, and she took this picture of me and showed it around to my whole family before I even ever saw it, and then she sent it to me. And it's kind of like for me, it's like, because I hate pictures so much, it's my badge. It's the only picture I ever put up anywhere.
Well, we love it. You know that Scorn has a man crush on you. Daedric has a man crush on you. Delete does too, actually.
Yeah,
Daedric wants
It's because
to
your
marry me.
radio perfect
it's
voice.
really more about your voice. I feel like I'm just like a high falsetto in this group.
You are. You sound like me. I
I feel
have
like
a
I'm
deeper voice than
PPs
you.
and you guys are Barry White. It's so sad, so sad.
Uh,
Don't worry, I got your back.
It's my own idiosyncrasies. Thank you for being higher than me, Finn. I appreciate that.
Not a problem.
okay, guys, I got a jet. Take
Bye,
it easy.
Silver.
It's over.
What are we talking about? Yeah, you guys should both, like, Daedric should play D&D with Finn, and Delete, you should come in and join Don't Starve, and you can start helping Durgan ruin my chest.
Oh my god, I would just go the opposite way. I would ruin everything for you for the beginning. Oh,
Well, most people do. That's the problem. That's why they get so much enjoyment out of it, because I just get, like, furious, like, upset.
there are so many. Do you realize how many button taps you guys have in that game?
Yeah.
I'm watching mouse go all over the place.
Yeah, it's a very intensive game. If you guys, anybody that's watching that plays PC games, on Tuesday night, RSG does Don't Starve Together on Twitch, and it's a really fun game. It's very complicated. It looks simple, but it's super complicated. It's super hard, and we have been playing it for how long, Finn? Like 2 or 3 months now, and are
It feels like forever.
just getting decent. We're just getting to the point where we can, like, survive a winter. And that's how, like, advanced people are. Like, people are, like, insane. Like, there's, like, whole Discord and Reddit groups that are just so advanced on it, and we're barely mediocre. But we're having fun doing it. But we also do, RSG does D&D groups as well on Sundays, Finn? Is it Sundays?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mondays 5 p.m. we do Star Wars D&D.
Oh.
Yeah.
There's a key way to survive winters, and that's grow a Scorn man bun. Because
I
then you
is a
just
Viking. I have to say, I feel like Scorn is a Viking at heart.
You know, I feel like I can't take a week off because A, I love the show. B, I have no idea what you guys would say when I'm not here.
oh trust
We talk
me.
about Delete the whole time. Honestly, though, Delete, you're such a nice guy. It's so hard to be like, I roll my eyes at you all the time, but it's really hard to, like, say anything mean about you. Like, I can talk bad about Daedric to his face all day long. Scorn, I can pick on him. Silver, he's nice too, so it's hard for him. But Delete, you were truly one of the nicest guys. Like, you're one of my closest friends, and I can't say anything bad about you. You were so nice to everybody.
Well, that's on purpose.
Daedric's just got the bad boy thing that it's easy to, like.
You know what? I think Finn, we need to do some bladder punching. We got too much emotional crap going on here.
Man, forget you guys. I just muted and hid my screen so I could go fill my drink and go pee.
I feel like you
So I
just
have
want
no
to
bladder issues.
TMV, I just feel like you won a Grammy right there. You were thanking everyone.
Whatever. I'm drunk. This is what I do. I'm a happy drunk. I'm not a belligerent drunk. I'm a happy drunk. I'm like, oh, it's so much fun. I love everybody.
Oh, I have all my beer cans here, and it's making me count how many drinks I've had. It's more than a couple, and slightly less than a lot.
Do you guys? Here's a treat for this stream. Do you want to see how much of my margarita mix I've drank?
Bang.
I mean, that's not a whole lot though, but it's a lot for me. I don't drink that much. Anyway, okay. So code.
Delete is not Canadian.
What?
I'm a New Yorker. I'm a New Yorker without the Long
Delete.
Island.
That's what's so weird too. I said the same thing, Ricky Bobby. I was like, it's really weird that he's New Yorkian. Did I almost say that?
Yeah.
I did almost.
New York, born and bred.
New Yorker.
Born and bred, like South New York.
You know who's Canadian? Daedric, you're Canadian, right?
No, I'm from Antarctica.
Whatever.
You know, living in those igloos, riding them polar bears, you know, very much like a Canadian, but in a very different part of the world.
Whatever. Hey, Invisinerd. Oh, I love Invisinerd. Invisinerd is in the stream right now, and he is actually, he's done a couple videos on SOS, and he is just, I really love his energy. He's a cool guy. I've told him several times that I want him on the stream just to come and hang out with us. He's a great guy. So Invisinerd, anytime you want to come and join us, it's very chill, very relaxed. You can see. Come join us. You don't have to have a whole lot of game knowledge, just a nice personality. And you do have one, so come and join us. You're a great guy.
Invisinerd, tell her to get off your back already.
You know what? Tell him to
I think we
up.
figured out your
Shush.
secret, Daedric.
Shush,
Yeah.
Daedric.
That was not a tuxedo cat, was it? That was a baby penguin from your igloo.
He's
Yes.
so mean. Okay, so
Fair.
the
That
gift
was a
code-
baby. That was a baby penguin.
It was not.
We've
It
The
was not.
code
He's from
is
Canada.
the code is bladder puncher.
I wish they would make a bladder puncher one. They did have a Team McVenom. Do you guys remember when they had a Team McVenom code?
Mhm.
I was like,
Yeah, that was-
that's the coolest thing I've ever seen.
That bladder puncher code will give you 50,000
I'm gonna ask if I can get a bladder puncher next week.
Instant win of survival of the fittest right there.
Great, thank you, Invisinerd. Anytime, man. You're welcome. It's pretty loose and fun. You would enjoy yourself. So gift code is Intensify, which is a weird name. I don't know where they came up with that, but Intensify. 200 bios and 2 advanced search maps. So you guys get that code. Also, I have a quick announcement. I know that Delete was just saying that he would miss the stream if he wasn't here, but next week I'm going to be out of town, so I won't be doing the stream next week. However, if Finn wants to do the stream, he can bring you guys on and you guys can chat anything you want. Finn, if you want to do it, Delete will talk you into it. You guys can do the stream. Finn knows the stream key. He can do it. But I won't be here.
I don't know anything.
You can just, to be honest, you've been here. You hear how they talk.
I mean, technically, you're a doctor. You should know
you could
something.
just say, hey, here's the stream. Here's the topic. And these guys will just run with it. This is why I chose them. They're awesome. You could go with it.
You're
Everyone
going to
says
miss
something
me
bad about them.
unveiling my face in episode 10?
I know.
What?
I know. I feel so
Ben.
bad.
Venom is emotionally hurting. Can you help her?
I am not emotional. I'm completely with it.
No, you're emotionally hurting. Can he diagnose you?
Oh, Finn. You should see some of the things that I've sent Finn, like when I've fallen and stuff. Finn will get like weird pictures of like wounds or things like that. And the last time I did it, I fell and hurt my knee and I sent him a picture and said, does this look infected? I mean, I'm a nurse, but I still always ask Finn everything because he's a doctor. And so I'm like, does this look infected? And he sent it back with a picture with a tongue hanging out of it. And one was a T-bone steak. And he draws all kinds of pictures on my stuff. And he's like, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. You're fine.
It
Manuka
looked
honey,
like a
I'm a big-
steak.
Honey.
You know, after I sent you the picture with the goofy face with the tongue sticking out and the T-bone steak, that you couldn't see it any other way when you looked at it. You know it. Don't even pretend. I just saw it before you did and drew on it.
Oh my gosh, I forgot questions. Oh my gosh, real quick. Okay. Sorry.
Wow.
I know. I'm like,
You know
4
what?
margaritas in here. Come on.
We'll blame Invisinerd.
Invisinerd, it's all your fault. All your fault. Oh, no, it's not his fault. I really do like him. He's really nice. He's super
All
nice.
your fault.
Like Venom just burning bridges on her way out because she's not going to be here next week. So it's just like making fun of everybody so that hopefully there's 2 weeks for you to forget about everything.
I love everybody. Don't you see my drunk attitude is just like, I love everybody. Come on.
You were totally running this next week, and we're going to abuse you, and we're going to invent things about a different game that don't even exist.
I have to be super professional at like a work party Friday, like super like together, and I don't play games. I'm not a nerd. I am like a super professional nurse.
I actually think that you should drink more than you have tonight.
No, I will be in so much trouble. I'm not kidding. Like I have people's lives in my hands, guys. Like usually.
Even better.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, questions. So,
were you just snapping your fingers at yourself to go faster with the questions?
No, I was like, focus. That's a focus answer. How to defend capital, and this is from Jay Trillas. How to defend capital against 6 full rallies from 3 alliances, colluding with 5 seconds total.
You don't.
Yeah, you drop, and you let them hit them.
Attack again. Yeah.
You take. Yeah, that's how you do that.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna say a Negan phrase from Walking Dead.
Ooh.
You better get your shitting pants on.
You were just dropping like pearls of wisdom from the mountaintop, like Buddha or something tonight, with your money is money.
Why is shit brown? Because that's just the way it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Get your shitting pants. Air Mr. Jake.
Oh, or something. Okay. Question: where is Silver's webcam? He promised. I don't know. I can't control Silver, but I honestly feel like the anticipation is worth it. Like his voice is building up to it, and we saw a little sneak peek. I think the person that you really need to be upset with is Delete, because he's the only one in our panel that still has like a.
That wasn't even part of the question. It wasn't a
block. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Hey, my logo is very attractive.
It is very attractive, but like people want to know you, Delete. You're a great, fun guy. They should know you. Okay. Colossus. Did we get anywhere with the dev stream? And I know Colossus, slightly drunk, so I'm going to try to articulate this better. So we had talked about this before, about the dev stream, about having a Q&A with a developer on. And the issue with that was that a developer is going to be very hesitant to be on a live stream because they can't really control the flow of what's being asked. And if they have an appropriate answer, like there's some things that they're just not going to be able to answer due to, inner workings of the stuff. Finn, I'm being serious. Team McVenom right now. Like I'm serious face. So anyway, so they're not going to do the live stream. So what we were talking about was maybe getting a developer to do a video segment with us with a couple of pre-designed questions for them where we we have the questions, we submit them to them, and then they answer them on a videoed stream, and then we put it out as a video. So that is still in the works. We've actually submitted that in to ask them if they would be willing to do that, and they are open to looking at that option. But you know how it is with the dev team here. It's like a slow process. We're also working on a lot of other things. I can't give too many details about it, but there's a lot of other big things that we're working on. And so that is kind of a 3rd or 4th priority to the other things that we're working on for you guys. So it is in the works, but I don't expect it anytime soon. But thank you for the question. Ashley Collins, I've drastically cut my spending down because of them not pushing SVS. People are leaving left and right, and it makes me question how long my specific state will last. I think we all kind of talked about that. Do you guys, anybody have any comments on that?
Yeah.
We've all...
Prove it. It.
Yeah.
There's no way. Actually, Scorn talked about it. It's like the amount of investment that you have in makes you retain the game past when you think you need to. And you're going to. Because you like playing the game. You wouldn't have spent in the game if you didn't like playing the game. So you can't use that as an excuse, like, I'm going to quit. Because I don't.
No, I don't think you can use that excuse, but I can tell you right now that I used to spend a little bit, like a dolphin spender in the game, and I think I said this in my earlier streams. I don't spend a dime anymore. And the reason why is that I want to see that they are motivated to put investment into the game as equal as what I'm going to do. Like, I will spend in the game if I see that it's worth the investment. So I just want to see that they're like, and the offset with that would be a beta program, dev group with player groups where we're like able to talk to them and say like the changes that we want. If they are able to put those investments in place on their part, then I would start spending. But right now I'm not going to spend because there's no point. Because obviously, Delete, we have like one of the highest spenders of the game in our state. So there's no point in trying to catch up with him. So it's like, if I'm going to spend, it better be really worth it. Like, I know this game is going to stay around for a long time.
Yeah.
You should buy him. You should buy him a pair of shitting pants.
I mean, the easy answer. I mean, not for nothing.
Well, no. With how much money he spends, he's probably got a maid who wipes his ass. So buy him a pair of shitting pants.
It's true. It's true. Or it depends to make him more uncomfortable. More often than not.
Instead of Ma the meatloaf, it's Ma.
Ma!
Change my underwear.
Stop.
Need you to wipe my ass, Ma.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I had a previous conversation with one of my buddies about what their superpower would be. And one of them was like, I want to be so rich that somebody else wipes my ass. And I thought that was incredibly crazy. I went on the complete opposite end, and I want to be able to see farts outside with my super ray vision. So
See, there we go. We got business
Who wants to see
going.
that?
Finn knows exactly where it's at. Everybody, get your shit and pants merch on this stream. $15 a pop.
What hat are you wearing right now, by the way?
What hat am I wearing? This is an RSG hat.
Oh.
Wait a minute.
So it's actually an RSG hat.
It just looks like RSA.
So our RSG hat that I have that I wear all the time, everybody thinks it's a Make America Great Again hat because it's the red one that we use for our charity stream. Yep. I don't have that hat yet, Finn.
Yeah,
Someone needs to send it to me.
So this is the hat that we got for our
Hold it up close to the camera.
Yeah, so this is for the 2020
For those that
campaign.
don't know, we do every year we do a charity stream where we raise money for a certain charity. Last year we raised how many? 18,000, Finn, for American Cancer Society. RSG did. That's cool.
Yep. So this is the RSG hat for the 2020 campaign, and then this is the one that we had last year that McVenom wears. So this was for the
and Scorn's like, is that a MAGA hat? No, it's not.
Yeah, and that's the RSG logo.
I like that hat. That was the one I designed. I thought it was very clean and nice.
Well, it's definitely more easily read. It sort of looks like a minor league baseball team.
Yeah.
That I'm wearing right now.
Question.
Nothing wrong.
Go ahead. What were you gonna say? Nothing wrong with what?
Nothing wrong with wearing a minor league baseball cap.
I like them. Nerd said, when you have a dev Q&A, make sure to ask how to defend against a massively collaborated attack. Is there anything I can do, or do I just need to pull up my shit and pants?
Yes! Oh my god! Invisinerd, you know what?
Invisinerd's super cool. You guys don't even know. Like, he's super cool.
I apologize to Invisinerd if I've learned anything from all of these lovely people today. The shitting pants are only going to be available for the new states. So, yeah, I apologize.
Sorry, only for the new states.
It'd be a great invention. Waterproof on the inside and not on the outside.
And Invisinerd passed the vibe check. Approved.
Yeah, he's going to come on. I'm going to have to bring him on. I'm going to bring him and Colossus on and King on in the next 2 to 3 streams we have because they're just all fun guys.
You're still on. We need you, buddy.
Yeah. I really want Finn to play the game. I really think he would enjoy it. I think if he wouldn't enjoy it right off the bat, he would learn to enjoy it because Finn is very technical.
Because McVenom would force me.
Yes, I would. But you also are very like nerdy strategy and mechanical mindset. You would love it. Like
Yeah.
you just
You would be obsessively frustrated by
the stats and like how to you would be like Daedric is. Daedric is constantly dealing with like stats and like comparing and things like that. You would be just like that.
Yeah.
And then and delete what I would just be like, yeah, fam, what should we do? Okay. Oh, good. Got it.
Fuel your anger and come to state 125.
Okay, so next question. Ashley Collins. Oh no, we already went over that. Costas question. There's a screenshot about SVS coming in July. Do you think it's going to be released with new heroes or Tony unreleased purple heroes? Daedric, have you heard anything about that?
Costa, all I have to say is it was not a game-wide message. So do not rely on that information until it becomes a system-wide message. That is actually the key that I've learned in this game. Is if it's not a system game-wide message to every single player, then it is hearsay until that point. Because let's use Horde as an example. Yes, Horde may very well have been removed, but until that's officially stated, that's just a rumor.
And to be honest, like so many people can make these fake screenshots. It's fairly easy. Like we saw it in a lot in our other game. Like fake screenshots are everywhere. So like, just wait until you know for sure.
Daedric, we didn't even. I mean, being that this was a Horde, conversation, we didn't even touch on the fact that like, do you support people, like reinforce people to steal their points, or do you not steal points? Like,
no, I'm offline for every single Horde because I can beat max level without even being online. Most people can. So anyone who's got maxed out tactical and at least purple hero gear and the right heroes on the wall, you never need to be online. I don't like stealing points, so I just I know I'm in the beat Horde, and I know a lot of people treat it the same way. But
I love that.
For the record, I feel like up to at my level, which I am at 115 million BP and 1 gold piece for Chief Gear, I feel like I can support 3 other settlements up to level 19 without issue. Like every other level between, 18 down, I can have 4 marches equalized to other settlements to actually survive the Horde. So for anyone still listening or watching for the Horde information, that is where I feel like that's my break off.
At what level? Wave what?
So like at level 19, you can 19? Still reinforce.
Man, no. That's for your level, Delete. You're like really high. Like I'm at a level 27, 28. I can get safely to level 16, 17 by myself, no issue. When we're on the top level of Horde, like the top level that we can start, like the hardest level, 18 is where I'm like, okay, I'm going to need some reinforcements. Definitely. Possibly 17, depending on what's going on.
I feel like I think you're at 27 settlement-wise.
I'm almost, I'm like a day from 28.
And 28s are basically, so 28s are susceptible basically around the like 17, 18, depending on how your research is and your heroes are. Susceptible to burning, but then you can still kind of get it to 19 if you have like 1 person helping you. So, which at that point in a normal alliance, you have multiple people that are out at that level, unless you have a really strong alliance where everyone is still, kind of in it. Because as you are out, people should reinforce people that are still in to basically increase your alliance ranking across the state.
So quick rules, or let's say quick strategy, because I do feel bad now that you guys brought it up that we haven't discussed hardly any of Horde strategies right now. We completely threw the agenda out the window. We were just talking about our own stuff right now. But the Horde, the way we do it in law is we put out the first fire. We don't put out the second fire because we want to know who's still in and who's not. Because we want to know who we need to reinforce and who we don't. Correct, Elite? So, and what we do is unless you ask for reinforcements, or if you're obviously offline, If you're obviously offline, we might send reinforcements because we don't know if you need them or not. But if you are online and you have not asked, we don't send reinforcements to steal your points, because you will steal somebody else's points if you reinforce their base and they can take that hit themselves. You've just essentially cut their points in half, which Delete loves to freaking do to me all the time.
No, that is incorrect.
No, it's not incorrect.
That last statement is incorrect.
Mm-mm.
McVenom actually reinforces my base for no apparent reason until I kicked her out, because all of her troops eat too much of my reserves and they throw wild parties that I have to clean up after.
I'm sorry,
Hey,
but who
Delete,
doesn't want
don't-
a beautiful Amazon troop, warrior troop in your base to please and entertain all of your other troops?
Hey, Delete, don't forget to donate all of your power cells to Trap.
Stop it, Daedric. God,
Are you sure you're saying Horde
Horde.
just still? Because what you just
Horde.
said about bringing things into Delete's base was kind of questionable.
Whatever.
Horrid.
I'm telling you. So you can steal
Horrid.
points of your friends, and there's some alliances, just FYI, there's some alliances like our Turkish friends who are in another alliance. That's what they do. They treat Horde as a fun steal your points game. Who can steal the most points from their friends? That is their way to play Horde, which I think is absolutely fun. We still like the ranking and the rewards that we get because we're still growing, but eventually we might become an alliance that just does it for fun to steal points. Right now we're not there, but Colossus is like Venom and her T8s. Man, I got T9s, bro. I got T9s.
You know what, Colossus, you better be careful because McVenom's going to start chucking Trap power cells at your base.
That's right. I will check every power cell that you've donated. Get off my back, Daedric.
You know what you need after that?
What?
$15. Only $15 for them
What is
pants.
that? Your pants?
Shitting
Your
pants.
shitting pants?
Yep. Price is dropping.
So
Price is dropping while supplies last.
before we finish up, is there any more strategy to the Horde that maybe people that are new that are watching, which I doubt anybody new that is watching is going to hang around this long, but like anybody else watching that any other strategy
what
to
are
it?
you trying to say? You're not going to hang around and
Well,
watch.
I mean, most of the people that are hanging around watching are going to be people that are like playing the game and they just hanging out
Wow,
with her.
what a way to judge your audience, man! Oh man.
Daedric, get off my back and go hug your cat. So
Can you imagine if she only had like half of that margarita mix, how much more cogent this whole conversation would be?
Oh my god.
wait until y'all stick around for the after party, and I've been like, I'm already done with that bottle. So
I'm 5 minutes in. I need to go to like 9 at least.
So the other part of the Horde strategy would be the headquarters. Like, okay, so the different wave levels, and I'm sure you guys have already seen all the different waves and what are the random wave levels, what are the headquarter wave levels. But the headquarter wave levels, we learned this the hard way, is that you obviously have to have your top player in the headquarters first, so that they have the highest rally capacity or reinforcement capacity. So you want all of those in first. We're still trying to tweak about whether it's going to be full infantry reigns or if it's a mixture. We're still tweaking that. We're still tweaking about whether we use buffs or not. Like what buffs are really worth it as far as the price value and using them for a horde with the rewards. Is it really worth it to use a buff or not? So we're still tweaking that a little bit. Drunken State Discord chat.
Mega March is the only person that's basically leading the headquarters.
Yeah.
Which should be your top ranked player. And at that point, you should be able to defend if the appropriate people reinforce correctly. Always start from the top down, and go from there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, if you mix it up a little bit, it's not crazy. You can still, if your top player stats are actually top players, you should be able to defend. But you should definitely, basically keep your strongest players first and file in accordingly. But make sure that your top player hits it first, or else a lot of people are just going to get booted until your top player's march capacity meets the levels accordingly.
Oh,
Agreed.
and another great piece of info is putting up a bubble does not prevent the Horde from hitting your base. The amount of people that have activated a bubble thinking that it'll help does not help you.
Yeah, it does not help. And I
It
think a
actually
lot of this information is very clearly given out in streams and in Discord and videos. I actually do keep saying that I'm going to make like just a basic beginners, because I do want to make videos for you guys that have just joined within the first month. And like, what do I do? Because like, I keep seeing like my friends like Durgan and Finn might join one day, and it's like, I don't really understand what to do with this. I just need basic info. I'm going to make some videos for that stuff. So stay tuned for those. But most of the people that watch our stream are mid-level to end-game players. So all of this is old information. But
also,
go ahead.
Biggest thing, when you're reinforcing your headquarters, the points allotted are allowed for the people that actually get into headquarters. So you have to go ahead and make sure that you have, I think we do 45,000 max troops into headquarters. Other people do 50K or 50,000. So you have to make sure, because headquarters is one of the few places that does not have a max cap as far as members.
And that's where you get good points.
In a rally, it's you can only have I think I'm VIP 12. So if anything, I should have the max amount of rally potential, which is 10. HQ does not have that. So please make sure that you only allot the right amount of troops. So this way everyone kind of gets in and contributes.
Finn, really? You can't start playing because McVenom hasn't made a guide yet? I will make you a guide.
I have not said a word.
That's fine. I will make one of these guys make you a guide.
Finn, I want to know how often you spit on your mic that you need a spit protector over your mic.
I don't, but it's just more for...
I don't have one of those, but Finn needs one. He needs a pop guard.
Actually is more for the pop filter when you talk. So, yeah. But it helps with that, too.
For those of you that watch politics and what Justin Trudeau said, Canada, don't speak moistly.
Oh,
I hate that word really badly. I hate that word so much.
Moist flesh.
Stop it. Okay, going on to the questions. Don't say that word anymore. There's this. Let's see. I think we have 3 more questions. Question: if they don't make the older states the same as the new ones, are we all eligible to refunds, as they are making it impossible to keep up with the new states? Daedric.
No, not eligible for refunds, because if you read terms and conditions and terms of conditions and service can change at any time with no notice to the player, and that is not a reasonable way to get a refund. You'd actually have to be like, there have to be some sort of physical theft to your account tampering, things of that nature for a refund to even be possible. So good luck if you try, but it won't go anywhere.
Okay, King, question. Ask Silver how fast he would leave me if he had the chance. Silver, if he had a chance to play on one of our states, I feel like he would jump. But he would drag Stormy along with him. Stormy's...
I don't know. I feel like he would take King. He relies on King.
He would take King. He does rely on King.
I feel like King, he's like, King, what trap level do we do? King, what do we do with this? What do we do with that? I feel like King and Stormy would be like mandatory.
Yeah, they would be. For him, they would be like, he has to have them two to go. Okay, so Nightmare, if I download State of the State... Finn, is that Nightmare from like RSG server? Okay, so he doesn't play State of Survival. So he said, if I download State of the State, should I join the Liquid, Solid, Gas, or Plasma Alliance? So RSG was picking on me on their Swaga stream that they had on Wednesday night.
It is not RSG that was doing it.
It was RSG.
Let's be clear. It was Grande.
McGrande. Okay.
It was McGrande.
So they were picking on me, saying that I was playing State of Matter, a game called State of Matter, because it was all about plasma and all this stuff like that. So all of the RSG fans are now joining into State of Survival, wanting to know if they should download this game, and they're joking with me about it being like State of Matter. So Nightmare, I would say download this game. I don't know that I would recommend you spending a whole lot of money off the bat. I would say spend the money that you would find enjoyment right off the bat to like just get your account up to the level that you want in the state that you want. But it is a fun game. It's a definite different style of game than what you're used to with with Swaga. I really enjoyed the change of pace and the change of community and the change of like just alliance interaction. So give it a try. You don't have to spend any money off the bat. Just give it a try. See if you like it. And if you want to spend, you can spend. If you don't, you can play free to play. It's really doable either way. Truly, it really is. You just have to have patience because everybody equals out in the end, to be honest.
Yeah. As Finn said, all you do in this game is buy time.
Buy time. Honestly, you will equal out after like you get to Daedric's level. He's at state 42. I mean, I'm sure there's some free-to-play players that have caught up to most everybody in the state at this point, right?
Nope.
You're such a jerk. You were such a
No, I'm actually serious.
Okay,
They're
so
not
like
even
in
close.
state 10, let's say state 10 then, do you think there's some people that have caught up?
Nope. No, reason being is if you look at it, so a free-to-play player, let's use the gear as an example. If you're a free-to-play player, you're not getting purple for a lot of it. And I'm talking hero gear especially, you're not getting purple. And, Alliance research. So even if you're adding 3 months on, like people who haven't purchased VIP or buffs are tacking on an additional 15 to 20 days on each individual research tech. So if I'm ahead of somebody by, 50 individual research tech, we're talking 6 months of time that they still need to play without using speed ups or spending money. The closest
motivate people to play here.
the closest free to play player I've seen has maybe been half my stats.
Yeah, without VIP, it's a considerable. It's a 20-point swing in attack.
We're trying
Just
to
off the
motivate
bat.
people to play here, though. Like, there has to be some incentive as a free-to-play player to, like, eventually be able to catch up.
But that's exactly what we're talking about today with should they be removing Horde or just the whole purpose of adding free to play events.
That's true.
You don't
Right.
need
We were
to
trying to do
monetize everything. So that goes back to actually supporting our conversation today. You do not need to monetize everything. You should be adding free to play events that everyone can play solely for the purpose of giving someone incentive to buy, knowing that they have a hope.
So even if you're not equal with the top players, you're still able to play at a competitive level and a fun level for a free-to-play player. So you're not going to you're not going to have top gear, but you're going to have something that you can do at your level that's fun.
I feel like rallies should be structured to the point where you have 10 people in your rally. 4 can be whoever you want. 28, the next 4 should be 28 through 25. And then 25 and below should be the last people that can fill your rally. As opposed to it just being a complete ground game where it's just grab the biggest players that you can across the board.
Oh, you mean to force alliances to be diverse?
Right. Force diversity to the point where it's I think
that fights against human nature of being the best of the best of the best kind of thing.
But it also recruits you to find the person that is still playing, that is active at a free to play point.
But then that goes against the principle of a pay to win game. Like that, how does that make the devs money if everybody's trying to find low level players to balance out their stuff?
Well, you've got to structure it right. There's in a perfect play game, there's always a right mix of free to play, pay to play, and people that are right in the middle that are medium spenders. Encourage all three. Maybe even keeping people you're our best free to play player. We need you to stay there. Because they're going to be free to play no matter what, or they'll just quit the game. It's
usually not going to work that way. because you're going to be unable to develop any high-end content that way if you're forcing guilds in a different game mode to diversify to include lower level. It just wouldn't it wouldn't work out. But to the point that I think, and I'm curious because I don't know the answer to this. I don't know if there's an official term to it in the gaming community. I call it just the 70% pack. Is there a pack that allows for newer players to come into the game, instantly drop, let's just say $150, and get their progress up to about 70% of what the maximum person is?
No, but there is a pack like that, but it's not 70%. They can maybe get 30. And then once you hit certain levels throughout your progression, they continue to introduce new packs. Like you'll get a pack to buy at level 5, a pack to buy at level 10, 15, 20. So they'll constantly incentivize you to increase your percentage at an exponential rate. But it's not that 70%.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, the best pack is actually the
Shitting your pants pack, which Colossus.
Well, that's only $15 now.
No, that's just for the pants.
That the shitting your pants.
That's just for the pants. The pack is more.
Yeah,
the
pack is more.
A prerequisite to buy the pack.
Yes.
But the best pack is probably like the pack that you buy, and if you buy it early on, you are so much better, and it gives you caps, bio caps, which are basically like the game currency. As you progress levels in your HQ, you will get like a certain amount of like exponential buffs to get you to the next level. So that will basically carry you on much further than any other pack that you can buy.
Okay. That's interesting because a lot of games, what they do is they introduce basically what's like a 70% pack, which is every game has power creep. Everything is going to get more powerful as you get farther and farther along. Things are just going to have to be introduced that are more powerful because that's what gets players to spend. But really, more people are going to be spending on the newer content than the older content, right? It's just that way. People are not going to see the value in spending on something that was released day 20 in a several years long game, right? So how do you incentivize it? And to the point that you guys were making earlier, newer players, you need to suck them in pretty much, right?
Yeah.
You have to find a way to draw them into the game and keep their interest, but also get them to a point that they're not frustrated by being so far behind. And the easiest way to do that is with a kind of a scaling 70% pack, which is that whatever the highest game is, right? It varies between like 70%, 50%, just depends on it. 30% seems kind of low if that's what it is. But it's basically a pack that allows a player with some spending, and it's somewhere in the neighborhood of like $100 to $250, depending on the value of what you're getting. But it's like a one-time purchase, and it gives them a huge catch-up. And then with that value already invested, right, the whole concept of microtransactions is that you feel kind of stuck with the game because you spent so much money, right? It is a play on gambling, which is what all of these games are, where you have spent this much money and you don't feel like folding, right? So now you're in the game for $150, $200. You're 70% of the way through the game. You can kind of get closer to that finish line. And now you may buy one of the packs that was released a few months ago at the price it was released at because you are now in the final stretch of 30%.
Yeah.
And that would be the easiest way to get newer players involved as well, keep them going, bring them up to speed in a way that can make them useful, and then not have to worry about, free-to-play players that are not spending the money usually need to expect that they are going to be behind players that have played for such a long time, and they just need to be able to have a game mode they can play without facing those top people all the time, right? I don't think mixing is the strategy. It's more making sure that you have the people segregated based on how much or how far progress they've made in the game.
This game is a very much of a two-stage game where you can buy the initial, right? And you can spend that, like, I'd probably say it's closer to probably like $250. And then after that, you find that $250 only gets you so far. And then it really requires you to spend an additional $250 because the amount of heroes that you can get, the newer heroes are so much stronger. You know, so when you first enter the game, 150 gets you the heroes that are available to you, and then it's like, oh, I've got those maxed out, and then you buy the new set of heroes to max those out, and you're like, wow, I really need like another 250 to get to that point, to really be viable still, because it'll be like, all right, you've got your minor heroes, your medium heroes, and then it's like, oh, legendary heroes come about, and it's like, I've just spent everything to get those minor heroes hooked up. Then it's like, well, those really won't take you that far until you get the major heroes hooked up. And then it controls your spending, because you can't necessarily, if you mix out on buying those first packs when the newer heroes are introduced, it makes it very tough for you to kind of like, see a deal, not buy a deal, and be like, I'll just wait. And then you're just kind of like, oh, now I'm waiting a really long time to spend again.
Yep.
Hey, kitty.
Oh, yay.
The big kitty.
Okay. So, question. The last question that I have is from, actually, Finn, you would be surprised how many people I've gotten in the DM, like in the last 15 minutes, that have said, hey, I'm getting burned out on Swagga. I think I might download State of Survival. I'm like,
I'm not surprised at all.
Come to State 125. Wow. Come to State 125, because I know you're all crazy gamers and crazy spenders. Let's do it. Let's do
and
this.
You can be McVenom's new friends, because he ditched all of her Swagga friends.
I did not. I love all of my Swagga friends.
He abandoned all of us.
I
It's
did
sad.
not. Finn, you're going to make me feel bad. Stop
We've
it.
had to fill the void with McGrande.
Stop
That's what you've left
it.
us with.
I love all of my Swagga friends all of the time, and I DM all of them and tell them how much I love them. So stop it. Don't make me feel
Mick
bad.
Grande, Mick Lemon, I love them both.
Don't do the McLennan thing. Damn it. Nightmare. Okay,
Just
so
Finn was here to drop the Mick Lemon.
this one is legit. I just downloaded the game. Is there a helpful Discord server I should join for helpful tips? So there's the SOS stream, just like the SOS Discord server, the main one. What are you laughing at? What are you laughing at?
Oh, what a gong show that is.
It is a bit of a shit show. I'm not even going to lie. However, there is some good videos. Like if you go to the, you're obviously a stream watcher. So if you go to the content section, there are some good streams. Like I love Teddy. I love some of Sticky's stuff. I love some other streams that are on there that do have specific content. So like if you're looking for trap content, if you're looking for SVS content, Daedric, stop with the smirk. I see it. I'm serious. There's some good stuff on there. The other place, there is Sticky has a server. Sticky Fang Gaming has a server that has a lot of information on it. There's Nimke's. I don't know why I can say that. Nimke's server that has a lot of information on it. But then there's also, we have RSG server, which Finn, I need you to create, right now, I need you to create a State of Survival voice chat on RSG for me. Now. So there's also State of Survival where I'm going to make all of these guys on this panel answer questions on there. I will get all over Daedric's back, and Delete's been answering questions. Scorn's been answering questions on there. The RSG State of Survival Discord will have lots of information for you guys. If you have any questions, you can ask questions there.
Yeah, at me, bro, or
At
Chica.
Bro or Chica? Did you just say bro or Chica?
Yeah, bro or Chica.
You are drunk. I love it. Okay.
Chica?
And I think that was the last question. Let me make sure. Do you chatty Cathys have anything else you want to talk about?
You want to see a cat with no teeth?
Yes, I do. I do. I desperately want to see a cat with no teeth.
Aww.
I don't know how I feel about that. What's wrong with
Yeah,
it?
he had a gum infection and he would have died if the teeth weren't removed.
So you pulled them all out?
The vet pulled them out.
Does he have dentures?
Yeah, I don't think Daedric pulls out teeth in his spare time.
I could
just
totally
for
imagine
fun.
Daedric pulling out kitten teeth and wearing them on a necklace. because he's so villainous like that. You don't know, Finn. You don't know. Daedric is the top #1 kills in the whole game. Like the whole game.
So that means he's gonna pull teeth out of cats
and wear them as a necklace.
I think you're equating too many things.
For my unveiling of my face, I want Daedric
I would move to an isolated island and run a cat sanctuary if I could.
I don't know what McVenom is thinking.
I still want you to play the piano for me.
I apologize, Daedric, for McVenom.
I'm teasing Daedric. He's a sweet cat lover. We all know that. He's got an adoptive, beautiful, like, what did you name him?
Azura.
Yeah.
Solid.
It's a solid name. It is a solid name.
If you haven't played Elder Scrolls, you're dead to me.
I have played Elder Scrolls. I always end up being like the mercenary guy though in it. Like,
and I'm not talking about online. I'm talking about single player.
You're such an elitist. Listen to you. Okay.
Wow.
So, anything else that we need to discuss? We've kind of went over everything. We have gone over an hour and a half over what we're normally.
I feel like we need to talk about the Delete unveiling his face.
Yeah.
Auction.
When are we going to do that, Delete?
Well, it's an auction.
Is it? Really?
Yeah, and Daedric has to play his piano while I do it.
Wait a minute. Daedric plays the piano?
Yeah, I've been playing piano for 15 years.
Yeah, notice the big
How did I not notice that behind you?
You have never noticed the piano behind Daedric?
I can tell that he tickles the ivories.
Okay, so
I didn't know if he played it or not, but I can't believe you didn't notice the piano.
Listen. I have shortcomings. We know that. So,
but it's a piano.
Yeah.
So
it's not small.
Daedric's gonna play the piano while Delete just unveils his face.
I feel like
that should be the thing.
Depending on
I know the perfect thing to play.
It'll either be like evil or it'll be like happy or
it's the Benny Hill chase music.
What's the Benny Hill chase music? No, that is not the perfect thing.
You have to play that. That's like the perfect thing to play during the face review.
It has to be like the
No. Do you know any
Finn, I also play the trumpet, so I could play that on the trumpet.
Wow.
Oh, that's afterwards though. So you start off with the Benny Hill, right? And then as soon as he deletes it, you play taps on your trumpet.
Perfect.
Wow.
Delete. Wow. Okay, so since I'm not going to be here next week, can we do it for like the week after?
Wow, you want to keep our audience in suspense that much longer?
Yeah,
I feel like
I'm not going to be here next week. You're not going to reveal your face when I'm not here.
Oh, it might be so much better when you're not here. That's the face I was going after, and mission accomplished.
Oh, you know what? Here's a perfect tune to Delete's face unveiling. How about a bit of Jaws?
Oh my God! You may force me to do it right now.
No, don't do it right now. You have to do it when I come back.
Yeah,
we're saving it.
The new code will be Delete's face.
So it's better that we don't stream next week because that sounds like the perfect thing to have on our first double-digit episode.
I kind of agree that like I don't want anybody.
No, that's like the best like episode 10 double-digit episode like unveiling. I can't do that without McVenom here.
Oh, you still need to stream next week.
But I can't. That would be episode 10.
You could do a fun stream. Like you guys could do like a fun stream, whatever. I'll let you guys decide. But the face unveiling goes on stream the week after.
Yeah.
Defender is definitely after a stripper song for when he's unveiling.
Oh, how about the sexy
like ride it my pony kind of thing, or like
the sexy what, Daedric?
Some genuine?
The sexy sax man.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Wow.
Sexy sax man.
Yeah. Hey,
no, I like My Pony by Genuine. That's what you need to learn. That's some magic Mike stuff right there.
I'm
Okay.
gonna-
All right, we're wrapping up, guys. We're gonna have like an after party because I'm still going. We're gonna have it in the RSG State of Survival server. Finn, will you post the State of Survival server RSG in the chat for me since you're sober?
Yeah.
That would be awesome. So
Okay.
we're gonna have an after party in the VC there, just so the
You're just talking about the channel for State of Survival in the RSG Discord.
yeah,
right?
but you're gonna make a voice chat.
There
for
is.
us.
It's down in the mobile game
Perfect.
section.
He's
There
making
is
a voice
specific...
chat so we can all, you guys can all join and say hi to us and like hang
Yeah.
out with us for a little bit. And
Also explain the talented people thing that I keep getting, which is I have no idea how to treat that.
the what?
Talented people. It seems like it's like a CD that you guys have made, and I don't know.
I don't
Maybe
know.
that's it. Oh well, we're just gonna have to leave that for the cliffhanger for next stream.
There it is.
Hey, delete.
There's a Discord.
Delete.
What's up, Daedric?
I found your song. Here you go.
Oh,
That's Careless Whispers, dude.
oh
You
my
said
God.
saxophone player. That's Careless Whispers. That's a big important song.
He's playing a saxophone.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's perfect. It's
Yeah.
perfect, Daedric. You were absolutely
like it.
right. 100%.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Can
I
we?
like it a lot.
perfect.
We'll need to play that. Finn, I need you to produce that whole segment for me so that when Delete reveals his face, there's Careless Whispers playing. Okay, so guys, we're going to end the stream because it is like an hour and 37 minutes past when we said we were going to do it. It's been Fun Day Friday. We've just kind of been drinking and having a good time. So we appreciate you hanging out with us. If you're still here, come join us in the State of Survival RSG Discord. Finn just posted the link in there, and we'll be in VC, or I'll be in VC. Finn might be in there too. But we appreciate everything that you guys have done for us, the support. If you have any questions, please contact us and let us know any questions, and we'll try to get them answered. On behalf of Daedric, say bye. Okay, bye.
Bye on behalf. Subscribe
Bye.
to RSG for your pair of shitting pants.
Yes.
Shit and
At me,
pants.
Chica and bro.
On behalf of Delete, say bye, Delete. Okay, bye.
Peace.
And Silver Wolf, who had to bail early, Scorn, who is always here, and he had to have some family time. On behalf of Man Bun, we love him. We miss you. And then also, Finn, thank you for joining. You suck for putting Sour McLemon on there. But yeah, thank you guys. Happy hunting.